Hello, welcome to a Monday edition of the Voice of Ocala. Buddy Martin with you again, as we are every weekday from 3 to 6. Hope you had a good weekend. Unfortunately, marred by a horrible triple murder downtown, which we'll be talking about at length today on the show. Have the the chief of police, Greg Graham, and the mayor, Kent Gwynn, will be joining us at 3:30 to talk about what happened in front of AJ's on the north side of the square. Tragic on so many levels. Kind of leaves us all numb right now with sorrow and anger and shame almost. I'll give you my thoughts on that a little later on. Tom also was on top of the story, and as it broke Saturday night, we'll give you his take on it as well. With that, I'll say welcome, gentlemen. Hope your weekend was better than some.
My weekend was marred by this event downtown because it touched close to home. I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I got your text, of course, Sunday morning. We'll talk about this a little later on, and didn't hear anything about it. You obviously had a little more information.
You were like, "Wow, that's awful," and you were entirely correct.
I was sort of shocked by it.
You just don't expect it in our nice little quaint town.
No, you don't. And it did catch us by surprise, if not shock. So we'll get into that. We appreciate the sheriff. I keep wanting to say sheriff. I got cast the cops.
Chief of police.
Yeah, I know it is. I just want to say sheriff for whatever reason. So we'll get with that a little bit later on in the show. And it's going to be an interesting conversation because I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure they do too. And it's pretty much a new deal that happened. I'm glad to know they apprehended the suspect, and he's in custody, and so he's in jail without bond, naturally. Otherwise, over the weekend, my weekend was pretty much working, reading, watching a TV movie, vegging out, watching some golf and basketball, and that 15-inning softball marathon Saturday night. The Gator girls won for losing to Texas on Sunday. And by the way, Game 7 tonight, which we'll talk about at length, I'm sure. Has anybody yet seen Dwayne Wade or Chris Bosh? They either missed the flight or the bus from Miami or sat this one out with Birdman because they had about as much impact as Chris Anderson did, and he wasn't even there. So that's going to be much talked about during the sports hour as we get down to Game 7 tonight in Miami.
I'm excited, buddy.
Well, I mean, I think everybody loves a Game 7, don't they, JJ?
Biggest game of the year.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. And I don't have the history of Game 7s. I used to have it, but you can Google that up and get it for the sports hour about how many there have been. They're not as frequent as you think they are, especially in the finals of a conference or in a Game 7 and championship. So let's hope we have that tonight. Doesn't disappoint. Also, not much worth seeing at the movies over the weekend, so I dialed up Gangster Squad. The Mickey Cohen story about Sean Penn. Pretty good. I like those gangster movies. The settings in places like L.A., the 1950s or 60s, but the more things happen like they did Saturday night, you kind of get a little shy of that kind of stuff, the violence that goes on. Reading a little bit this weekend, I'm reading a book called Real Influence, which I think is kind of powerful, which I'll share some on this radio program with later on. It's kind of a Dale Carnegie book, but a little bit more than that. And for those of you who know that book, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's been around for a zillion years. And I got my Lonely Planet guide to France, which I'm going through, and checking out a few things about that trip if I ever make it. Also, today we'll talk about online music. A friend of mine's kind of promote Spotify to me. Says it's really great. I'm learning about that. Of course, we all know about iTunes and Pandora and many others. John Seda, it's Seda or Seda. I get to ask Sean to tell me the correct pronunciation before he comes on. He's kind of an expert on online music, and he's got 30 years of music and experience, and we'll ask his take on it. He, of course, wants everybody to get paid for the music and nobody to have it free, and why, and so on and so forth. And then we'll get with the program with Game 7, and Franz Beer joins us today to kind of follow up on a few things there. Lots and lots of money being divided up in the SEC, buku-doodles of money, which in a way is one of the problems we have right now. But I got those numbers for you as well. And, of course, today is Dr. Buddy Day. Dr. Buddy, thanks to Tom Schmitz, who has given me an article out of Yahoo.
So you used it right away.
I actually had a couple of them, and I thought about that one, and I thought, well, I'll just go ahead with this one anyway. It's from Match.com, and it's kind of catching you up on what to do if you're what you look for in a relationship, what you look out for, 5 things to be wary of if you're dating now. So you want to be sure that you don't make some big mistakes, and Dr. Buddy will delve into that as well. So anyway, Tom, we won't get into it all now because when we come back, I want you to get into it more. But you woke up in the middle of the night Saturday night?
I actually was manning the police scanner and heard a call and said, because I have a limited understanding of what they're saying because of past relationships. So I was able to decipher some of what they said, and I said, that doesn't sound real good, and it's at one of my favorite places downtown. So I said, well, Buddy said, we just recently had our annual meeting for the Voice of Ocala, and you said that we needed to start reporting more on the news. So I thought, well, I'll go down there and see exactly what happened, and lo and behold, it was not anything I really wanted to be a part of.
And it was certainly, unfortunately, true. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. I'll give you my take about that. A few words about that situation. The mayor and the chief coming in at 3:30. Tom will give you his timeline Saturday night, what he saw, what he heard, what he's hearing. All that coming up next right here on the Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source. This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976.
A couple weeks ago, I was involved in a minor car accident, and they said they were going to send out highway patrol. And I was wondering if this was like the new philosophy of the sheriff's department to keep the boots on the ground and keep our sheriffs out there trying to solve these crimes rather than these minor traffic accidents.
Yes, ma'am, I totally agree with that. We don't investigate accidents, vehicle accidents in the county, so now we will respond if there's a traffic situation where we need someone there to take care of traffic until Florida Highway Patrol can respond. But we don't investigate traffic accidents, so and if it's not as serious in nature, then we probably just have the cars pull off to the side, and then you would wait for Florida Highway Patrol to show up to work the case.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the Voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
WOCA. The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Times of clouds and sun today with a shower and thunderstorm in the area, high 84 to 88. Tonight it'll be mostly cloudy with a shower or two and even a thunderstorm, low 70 to 74. More clouds and sun tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 84 to 88. Wednesday mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and thunderstorms, high 82 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is Joe, and I'm your host for the new show, Damage Control, every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m., brought to you by Damage Control Services. We're going to be discussing floods, fires, storm and tree damage, sinkholes, mold, and many other disasters that you need to know about. how to prevent and prepare for them, as well as what to do when it happens and what to expect after it happens. This is Damage Control, Tuesdays at 10:30, right here on The Source.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. License and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
WOCA, Ocala.
This is Tom Schmitz live in the WOCA studios with this news break brought to you by Gateway Bank. According to Ocala.com, a man charged with murdering 3 friends outside of downtown Ocala bar on early Sunday may have hinted to another friend about his plans to shoot the man. Assistant State Attorney Rock Hooker said Andrew Loban told a friend Saturday he was sorry for what he was going to do later that night, an apparent reference to the early Sunday morning shootings of Joshua Santiago, Benjamin Howard, and Jerry Bynes Jr. as the 4 were leaving AJ's bar. This news break was brought to you by Gateway Bank, your new old-fashioned bank. Join Buddy every Friday for Community Gazette Day at Gateway Bank.
Coming up in 15 minutes, the mayor of Ocala, Kent Gwynn, who was there, by the way, Saturday night. I understand he's also there at the victim's house offering condolences. Chief of Police Greg Graham was up and at him early, and Tom will tell you about that. First, my thoughts about what happened Saturday night in downtown Ocala, which is, as I said, tragic on so many levels. Not to over-dramatize it, but it kind of leaves us all numb. I'm trying to think of the adjectives I could use to describe that. Sorrow, anger, and even a little bit of shame. And it leaves us with a lingering question, which comes up all the time, that keeps on haunting us. Sorrow for the families of the 3 victims, Jose Santiago, Benjamin Lawrence Howard, and Jerry Lamar. Angry at the shooter, Andrew Loban, who now says he semi-premeditated it, the shooting. Although a colleague of the victims apparently enraged by a video prank or punk which showed his gun not going off in the gun range. Shame, because it happened right here in our little village, downtown Ocala. And it was a crime committed by a resident on 3 other locals. This could happen right here in our town of Ocala. Yes, it could, and it did. What about gun violence in America and now in our own town? Should we at least not have a conversation about it? I won't go there today. Let's just leave it at that. Sorrow, anger, and shame. We'll talk to the mayor and the chief at 3:30. Tom, you woke up Saturday night and you heard the scanner.
Yeah.
What'd your night go like after that?
I went down to the square. I was there even before the newspaper was there. I was there probably about 10 after 1. The call came in at 12:45, right around there. I was there probably within 25, 30 minutes. And at first, there was a lot of, chaos. A lot of tape was being hung. Cops had blocked off Silver Springs Boulevard.
You were at the site of the shooting?
I was.
You saw the blood and all that?
I literally was 60 feet from where it happened.
Okay, what did it look like?
By the time I got there, of course, the ambulances were there and everything, and the forensic van pulled up right as I walked up, and they were putting up barriers, blocking people's view and everything, as they should do in a situation like that. The police took control of the situation and very quickly had it cordoned off so that the crime scene would not be, damaged or anything.
How many cars there? How many?
There were probably 10 police cars there.
Ambulances there yet? Or?
The ambulances were there. They were leaving. There were 2 forensic vans that showed up there. The chief of police showed up. Major with the police force showed up. There was a lieutenant on scene, a couple sergeants on scene, probably 5 or 6 technicians, and 3 detectives showed up. I mean, the police presence there was quite large. And the rumble through the crowd was that it was people that worked at AJ's that were shot. Well, that, then it came to, no, it's people that worked for the owner, Bobby Tillender, his group. Because, Bobby owns 3 different establishments here in town. Ocala Entertainment Complex, AJ's.
But the name of AJ's is in his daughter's.
It's his daughter's bar. You're right. It's his daughter's establishment. So technically. So then somebody said that Sway was shot, and I was like, stop. That's when it became personal for me.
Who was Sway, and how did you know him?
I had worked for Gracie's Cougar Lounge doing trivia and karaoke over there about 2 years ago, and he worked there. He was a bouncer there.
How well did you know Sway?
We knew each other to hang out, say what's up and everything. It wasn't like we would call each other on the phone and go out to dinner or anything.
Jose you're talking about?
Right.
Why was he called Sway?
It's just easier to say.
Okay. Josue, I guess, is the way they spell his name.
Easier to say.
Okay.
And so then it came back that...
and he came to Danny Santiago, the boxer.
I do not know that.
Okay.
It's a good question, though. We'll try to find that out. But then it came back that there was one fatality, and there were 2 other people shot. And then about 45 minutes later, it was 2 people had expired, and there was one still at ORMC.
And you're downtown on the north side of the square.
I am on the north side of the square.
On the sidewalk?
I'm literally in the center median on Silver Springs Boulevard.
Okay.
Because Silver Springs Boulevard between Magnolia and First Avenue was completely blocked off.
Okay.
They had crime scene tape going from the Insomniac Theater across to the median, then wrapped down the median, and then back across on the other side of AJ's in the alleyway. And
how are you hearing your information from the police?
Well, at first I was working the crowd. You just were trying to get bits of information from family, friends that were there, people who were on the scene who had seen it happen. Then the lieutenant come over. I asked the lieutenant if the PIO was coming out, the information officer was coming out, public information officer. He said that he didn't think she was planning to come out, but they would release a statement later in the day. And then the major showed up. Now, he didn't go in the tape, but he talked to his police officers, and then I talked to him. And then, of course, Chief Greg Graham showed up. And I don't know if people know this or not. We have a show called Ask the Cop, so we have a pretty good relationship with the chief of police. And so I spoke with him about the incident.
What time was this about?
That was about 10 after 4. And that's when it was confirmed that they actually had a 3rd fatality in this incident. And that at that time they had a person of interest. They weren't saying who it was or anything, but they did have a person of interest they were talking to. And at that point they didn't know really. At first it had started with witnesses had said that a car had drove by and did the shooting.
You wondered if it was a drive-by. You wondered if it was drug-related. And then you find out, according to the story about Bill Thompson, that they all worked together.
And they did all work together at OEC.
And you're hearing that they were out together earlier that night.
They were out together. Actually,
Coyote.
No, they were out together in town, just out downtown. Right. And then they were at AJ's. They had been downtown. They were at AJ's, and they were leaving AJ's together. And when they got outside on the sidewalk, he pulled a gun out and shot the 3 of them.
Now, this guy Loban, described in the article, of course, as being a family man, low key. If he said 15 words on all night, he said a lot. gentle giant,
I
etc.
can agree with that 100%.
We hear this all the time from people saying, "Well,
When I saw
knew
who it
him.
was,
He wasn't that way."
When I saw who it was, because I didn't know his name. I just know he was the big soft-spoken guy that was always at OEC. When I saw who it was, I was like, "Shut up! That's really not the guy that did that. That's not the alleged perpetrator." Because literally, if this guy said a paragraph or two in an entire night, you were thinking he was talking too much.
Didn't sound like him to you.
No, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Well, he wasn't a nice guy because he killed three people.
I know, but
okay?
he came off as a nice,
he seemed to be
guy.
a nice guy.
Right.
He
seemed to be a nice, easy-going guy.
Yeah. So here you have a guy that's unlikely, but now it gets down to quote unquote being punked in a videotape, which is in a way it almost reminds me of the hazing and the bullying that goes on in schools where people go nuts, you know. And the deal is that when that happens, is that, you know, people do wild and crazy things. So I'm looking at this thing now. I'm hearing it's about a videotape. But what could possibly set a guy off that would be in a videotape?
Well,
according to the article, and we'll get to the chief and the mayor in just a minute there in the House, is that I'm thinking, what could you possibly do in a videotape that would cause that much rage for a guy to go shoot three of his so-called, if not friends, certainly colleagues?
I think what it was the how much they see. Us Italians have a
don't start me with that.
We can't tell you what it is, but we break on each other a lot. We'll just leave it at that.
I'm not going ethnic on this deal. Okay?
You know, but what I'm saying is, me and my buddies will get around each other. We pick at each other and all unmercifully.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening here. And from all I could tell, he finally got fed up with them picking at him so much and was going to stop.
Well, we don't know that.
No, this
apparently, according to what the police said, again, we're quoting.
And and sources I've talked to said that he got tired of them picking on him, and he was going to stop them from doing it.
All right. That's what we're talking about now. That's just stuff we're reading. We'll hear it firsthand from the chief of police and the mayor. We'll find out what they can tell us about the shooting that happened Saturday night downtown Ocala. Next, right here, stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin for Renstar Medical Research. Every day we hear another story about innovation or about the cutting edge of technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, HMC, Ocala 489. But did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that will impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people are right now. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend an opportunity to you to be a part of these. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
Ocala Radio, WOCA.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hi, I'm Russ with Climate Control Mechanical Services. and I want to invite you to tune in every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. to listen for tips and answers to the many questions you may have about your air conditioning and heating for your home or business. The Climate Control Show, every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. right here on WOCA, 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM, The Source.
This is Don with ABC Fredericks Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey, everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Fredericks Appliance does repairs, too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
Hello all, Joe Martone here for Karaoke Time. You hear me each morning for the segment of Fun with Joe? Well, fun is what I do. So the next time you want to have a get-together, for just about any reason, give me a call. 470-0276 for Karaoke Time. That number is 470-0276. Everybody likes to sing, and with the words on the screen, it's just that much easier. Call Karaoke Time, 470-0276 for the next event, big or small. Karaoke Time can keep the fun in your business, too.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Welcome back to Voice of Ocala. Buddy Martin, along with the Mayor of Ocala, Kent Gwynn, and the Chief of Police, Greg Graham, who joined us now on the program. Thanks, gentlemen, for coming in on short notice to kind of let us know what happened Saturday night. We read the reports. We talked about it some here, and I just want to know if we could shed some light on the event of Saturday night, something that we all certainly are sorrowful about and also curious and a bit angry. And wishing it hadn't happened in our community, just like all of us. Oh, you two both as well. But let's start with the chief when you got the call and where you went from there and what you found out, Chief Graham.
Well, thanks for inviting us on the show, buddy. I'll tell you, it is a tragic event. It's one of the worst mass shootings that we've had here in Ocala in a long time. In fact, I think the last one was when we had several police officers killed in the 1950s. Where one of our assistant chiefs, M.O. Tuck, was murdered. It was funny. We talked about this before we started when at the Ask the Cops segment that we do on Fridays. That we got a question from the community about why do we have officers downtown at bar close on the weekends, and this is exactly why. We had a couple of officers less than a block away actually heard the shooting when it happened, and we had a pretty good response there. But it's like I said, it's a tragic event. It's a senseless homicide based on what the defendants told us as to what his motive was behind it. And it's fortunate that we were able to respond as quickly as we did. We were able to recover the firearm. Had a couple of really good witnesses that helped point us in the right direction, and then we were able to bring it to a successful conclusion yesterday morning.
And we stand now. He's in jail, no bond.
Yeah, he went to first appearance this morning, and no bond. He's charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. He won't get out before the trial, and we'll see how the court system plays out. But we've got a pretty good case. The firearm we recovered belonged to him. He told us it belonged to him. It was the gun that was used in the shooting, and it's I can't think of a better outcome to the case, at least for prosecution standpoint. The men and women of the police department did an outstanding job in their response and staying on top of it. They worked all night. We had a whole team of people out there, and they did a fantastic job. I couldn't be more pleased with the response that we had.
Well, Glenn, I know this is a tough one for you because it puts a blight on our community naturally, and it's not something we first and foremost think of the families, the loss of the families, the crime, of course, after that, and then, of course, the blight on our community when something like this happens, because it's not something that you want to have after an Ocala Dateline.
No, it's not, and that's when I got that voicemail from the chief at 3 in the morning. I got up and I was heading to church and listened to it, and I just kind of sat there and I went, wow, we just had a triple homicide in our city, and we need to respond in some way and let people know that we're okay and downtown's okay and it's okay to be downtown. I think this was obviously not the norm, and I think it's very, very unusual, but it's just it's sad, it's senseless. 3 people died for no reason. I went out to see both the mothers of both Sway, and they call the other one, his name's Junior, and I saw Sway and Junior had a relationship in, I think Sway's fiance was Junior's sister, and they had a 1.5-year-old little boy and a 2-month-old little boy that don't have a father now, and I think Junior had a 2-month-old little girl. So anyway, it's sad. It's sad for the families. It's even sad for the shooters' families. I saw the mother and father in the police department, and I'm sure they're going through a hard time right now, knowing that their son did that. So it's a difficult time for the people that are involved, and it's just sad that we got to this point.
Chief Graham, I know it's one of those things you think about couldn't happen here. I remember the case you talked about. In fact, I was talking to the former editor of the Star-Banner who reported that story back in the day. Happened out on just out now where Walgreens is, right down the street down there on off 40.
Northeast 19th Street.
Yeah, whatever that street is right in there. And the guy holed up as a former school teacher. He had a shootout with him. Right. Anyway, I wanted to get to the point of this is something that you think, okay, this sounds like it was a drive-by, first of all. You first hear about it. Then you think, well, some guy from Miami, or whatever, or a drug deal that went bad. And yet it turns out, based on what we know, or at least what we were been reported to the police department, they knew each other, they worked together, they were colleagues, and even perhaps friends.
Right.
It's just unthinkable what happens to a person who could become that enraged to kill 3 people that he knew their families. It just blows your mind, doesn't it?
Well, a couple things, buddy. One is, this wasn't a random act of violence. It wasn't a drive-by. It wasn't a drug deal gone bad. It wasn't, it wasn't something that the community should be in fear of, that, this could happen to them if they're walking down the road. This was a targeted act of violence toward 3 people, and truly senseless. And it just goes back to what I've said before when we talked about the gun thing. He was in possession of that gun legally, although he was carrying it concealed. He doesn't have a concealed firearms permit. But
he does or doesn't?
He does not.
Or he has a legal gun, but he didn't have a permit.
Right, to carry it the way he was carrying it.
Okay.
But it goes back to the whole thing of our society. We're not raising our kids to respect human life, to be able to deal with conflict and conflict resolution, or taking things too serious. Where I was embarrassed, so this is the only way I know to retaliate is through is to put a gun to someone's head and pull the trigger. We've got to do a better job in not just in Ocala, but in the world, of teaching people how to be respectful of each other. And it's just it's unthinkable, and it's scary that it happened downtown. But the only thing I can say is it wouldn't have mattered where they were. He was bent on killing those 3 people as a result of the embarrassment that he got over being made fun of.
Humiliated by the prank on.
Right.
If I'm reading the story right, according to your reports from your department, it was punked, quote unquote.
Right.
Could they fix his gun or jam his gun or something? Or we don't know that yet.
No, I don't know. We're trying to get a copy of the video to see exactly what happened. But if they would have been at the mall, it could have happened at the mall. It could have happened at their house. They
could
just
have happened in
happened.
Reddick. It could have happened in Bellevue, any place, but it happened here,
Right.
which is what makes it so scary because it is our downtown. We perceive it as being safe. There are lots and lots of people downtown these days at nighttime.
Right.
It's become more of a youthful downtown, and now we have to address the issue, although we say certainly it could happen anywhere, of people being a little afraid to go downtown. Mary Gwen, I know that's not something you want to hear, but it is a fact.
It is a fact. I mean, years ago, we got rid of the bars downtown, because we were having a number of problems. I know Chief Graham was here during that time, and we had several bars down there that were notorious for having problems. And we just said, enough's enough. And they said, if you're going to have a bar, it's got to be a restaurant, and serve liquor. So here we go again.
Gainesville had the same issue. I think they have a rule or law you can't have one per block or something. I don't know. Some of downtown areas are having problems with bars, and which of course is where people go to have fun.
Yeah.
We all go down. I mean, there's lots of them down there. But is there? I don't want to pinpoint a business here because that's not what we're trying to do. But there is a certain kind of bar that draws a certain element. Let's be honest about it, okay?
True, and I don't know that AJ's...
I'm not saying that's it.
Yeah.
I'm saying there are certain kind of places,
of course,
that do attract a certain element.
Sure.
Well, and I'll tell you, buddy, that I've said this from for years ago when we were having problems with some of our bars, that it's never the location, it's never the bar, it's always the management of the bar or the business that creates an atmosphere that it's okay to do that. And I'm not saying that that's what's going on here. I mean, this was kind of bizarre. They're all employees at OEC. They
Ironically, which owns both buildings, which turned out to be unfortunate, but
and it's going to be bizarre for me to even say this, that about the safety downtown. But downtown is safe. We don't have a lot of problems down there. We certainly don't have acts of violence like this on a regular basis. Thank God. And like I said earlier, this wasn't something that was a random thing, and it wasn't a drive-by or any of that. It was targeted. I mean, he was, like I said, no matter where they were at, he was bent on killing those three innocent victims, and it didn't matter where they were when it happened. It was an opportunity.
Right.
Well, what would you do differently now, if anything? Of course, you said you had two officers a block away.
Yep.
Did the alleged killer, did he come on foot or park his car and walk, or what did he do, and how quickly was he able to get there? Do you know?
After the shooting, he took off in a northerly direction where he dropped the gun that we ended up finding, which ironically, the canine that found pointed out the gun was Mo Tuck, which is named after M.O. Tuck, who was killed in the last mass shooting we had here. A little bizarre. But I'm not sure where his car was parked, how he got there, how he eventually got away. We ended up finding him at his girlfriend's house on Sunday morning. They were all there together. All four of them were at the bar together.
They knew the shooter.
Oh, yeah.
People,
they worked
you had
with him.
Witnesses also in AJ's that saw this.
Yeah, they
were interviewed obviously by the officers there.
Yeah, the four people worked together. They worked together at OEC. They're all bouncers. I believe the defendant had been there for numerous years, and the others have been there for a couple of years. So yeah, it wasn't, and there was no fear on anybody's part that anything was going to happen. Obviously, they walked out with him without any problem. So, like I said, it was just a senseless act of violence that it's unfortunate that it happened. It's horrible for the families, for all the families, and you wish it wouldn't have happened. But we're constantly we're on guard for stuff like this to happen, not just there but anywhere in our community, and as evidenced by our quick response and our quick closure of the case.
Chief Greg Graham, Mayor Kent Gwynn. Tom has a question.
Was there any indication of a altercation between the four before this incident happened outside, or was there any indication that did they have words inside the establishment? Has that been determined yet?
As far as I know, no. We're still doing everything we can with the investigation as to what led up to the shooting, and whether or not his initial statement of being punked is why. If there was some other reason, but I don't think there was anything that happened that night, or at least I haven't been told of anything that happened that night that would have caused anybody to believe he was about to do this.
Now, I'd heard one of the victims was also involved in a shooting at the OEC a couple months ago?
Yeah, Sway had been shot. He got shot in the shoulder by a patron that was there that they were kicking out that was carrying a firearm.
You wrestled with him, right, or something?
Right. The guy that they got mad because his drink got kicked over.
Right. He got arrested. He was charged. I don't know if he's still in jail right now or not, but we successfully closed that case too.
According to one of your detectives, this whole thing with them laughing at Loban really upset him. He talked about it a great deal, and it, quote unquote, really bothered him. By no stretch of the imagination was he justified in what he did. Without question, that was no proper response. But in a way, doesn't it kind of speak to the issue that kids have in school when they get bullied and teased? Obviously, this triggered something in this guy. What, I don't know. I'm not giving him any pass or anything. I'm just saying, is that something that, how does that strike you, Chief?
Pathetic. Basically, I can't tell you how many times during the day somebody rags me about something I've done or haven't done. And I give it back to them just as much as I can. But, at no point have I ever thought, you know what, I'm going to kill somebody because they made fun of me for something. And, it goes back to what I said earlier about, us teaching our kids and each other how to respect life and how to, have conflict resolution and how to de-escalate things. And, the first thing is if something bothers you that bad, you tell the people, look, this really bothers me. Could you not, give me a hard time about it? And if they're true friends, they'll stop. And then, I remember growing up when stuff like that happened. If you had a conflict with somebody, you walked out in the backyard and, you either fought or you didn't fight. And if you didn't fight, because one of you was scared and the other one was glad you were scared.
But you didn't have a gun. You had fists.
Right. Yeah. You don't whip out a gun. And then, not in this case, I don't even think they knew what happened.
Do you know if the other guys were armed or had guns?
We didn't find anything on them. I would imagine not.
So he never took the gun in AJ's?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, apparently. If he did, then no one knows it.
He had it when he walked out. So
he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have any indication that anybody handed him the gun.
Right.
So he would have had to have it on him long before, or not long before, at least before the shooting.
Would there ever be a time when we'd have, I hate to even think of this, a metal detector at bars?
Some bars do that, which is great. They did scans at Midnight Rodeo. I think they do it at OEC.
At OEC, they get the metal detector wand out, and you get, doesn't matter whether you're 20 or 40, you get wanded for a metal detector when you go into OEC.
But what does that say about our society? That we've got to wand people to go into a bar to have a good time. You're not getting on a plane, or you're not going to the courthouse or anything like that. It's just, like I said, the violence in our society these days is completely out of hand. And I applaud those the businesses, the places that take those extra steps to make sure that the people within their community or in their bars or in their businesses are safe or safer. But what does that say about our society that we're worried about people walking into a bar with a gun?
Chief Greg Graham, Mayor Kent Gwynn. Mayor, we come back. I want to talk to you about the families. I know you spoke to some of them and their sorrow and grief, of course, that goes to this. Coming up next right here in the Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front-end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
1370 WOCA.
I cut our break a little short today to get the maximum time from the Chief of Police, Greg Gray, and the Mayor, Kent Gwynn. I know, Mayor Gwynn, you offered your condolences the next morning. I didn't see you in church the next day, so you were busy. You talked to the families. Tell me, I know there obviously was terrible grief for them, and can you share any thoughts there about that and what they told you?
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously a lot of their family were there. We went to Sway's mom's place and met with them and some brothers and aunts and folks and sat down with them and just kind of shared some. They were telling us some funny stories about him and some things he did when he was growing up, and it was a good visit. And I know Sue Mosley brought me out there, and Austin Miller from Star Banner wrote that story that was in the paper this morning. And then we went over to Junior's mom's house, which was nearby there in the Shores, and met with them, and there were a lot of friends and cousins and folks, sisters over there, and so it was the same type mood. I know they're going to when they're buried, they're going to be buried next to each other, and but it's just, I mean, to sit there and see those families and the pain that they're in, and to think that if it is the case that he just killed 3 people because he was offended and made fun of, it's just, like I said, it's just senseless.
And
from the police department, I mean, those guys tease each other all the time, but it's all in good fun. I don't think anybody's going to kill each other over it.
And Chief, we hear this so many times over my lifetime. I've heard it 1,000 times about what type of person the killer was, or alleged killer, shall we say. And his mother talks about he was a good son, loyal friend, joker, always had a smile, very outgoing, friendly, a leader. One of the people who worked with him said if you got 15 minutes out of him during a whole shift, or 15 words, that was a lot. He was looked upon as a so-called gentle giant, great son, provider, and good father to his family. And I know you know this because you see these kinds of things in our community, and you just want to make somebody snap. Apparently he snapped, didn't he?
Well, obviously, I mean, something was going on. I don't know, based on what he's said so far, what we know so far, I don't think it wasn't a spur of the moment thing. But you never know what's going through anybody's head, unfortunately, which it's just. It's hard to come up with words to describe what happened this weekend based on what we know.
It is. It really is hard to come up with words. Because it's kind of stunned when Tom texted me. I couldn't think of what to say to him other than, my gosh, that's horrible. Right. And so I think we're all looking for some perspective on how to deal with this thing for these families, for our community right now. I know you do much because you're right there on the point. And I'm sure, have you gotten lots of calls at the police department this morning at all? Do you know?
Oh yeah, we're getting tons of calls, not just from the media, but we're getting a lot from them, but from other people in the community. Either they have information, which is great. If you got information, call us because we need it. People that will call, trying to get information as it relates to rumors they've heard, because the rumors do start, they're endless with what happened and what didn't happen, and what he said to somebody or what somebody said to somebody else, and so yeah, we get inundated with a lot of calls.
Are you confident the detectives kind of know what they need to know about this case, or is there more that you need to investigate?
There's a ton more that we have to investigate, but no, I've got we're fortunate here in Ocala to have some of the best police officers and certainly the best investigators throughout the nation. I mean, I'd put these guys up and girls up against just about anybody. And they've got an open mind. They track down every lead. They don't leave any stone unturned. And, we're doing it, not just for the victims and the families of the victims, for the community as a whole, so that we can get as many answers as we can. It's such a tragic event.
In our final minute, could each of you take 30 seconds to count and tell us the receipt, reassure the citizens that we're not under siege downtown? Kent, start with you.
Sure. No, downtown's safe. Come down there. You'll have a good time. Again, this wasn't the norm. You'll be fine down there. Come downtown, feel downtown, enjoy it.
I echo the mayor's thoughts. Not just downtown, but Ocala is a safe place. We work very hard to do that. We've got a community that's engaged in what we do and how we do it. That's one of the reasons why we were able to successfully close this case as quickly as we did, because we had people that came forward with information that trusted us enough to know that we were going to do the right thing with it. So, I bring my family downtown all the time, and I'll be bringing them downtown this weekend. I mean, it's not. I don't have any fear of anything like that happening.
I want to take just a minute, final seconds, to thank you both for coming on today in short notice, and for also being publicly accessible, because through these microphones you talk to people of Ocala. Right. And so this is helpful to them, and I appreciate it on behalf of them.
Sure.
Thanks, buddy.
Chief Greg Graham, Mayor Ken Gwynn. Take a break. Come back next hour. We'll talk to John Seda, music expert. Dr. Buddy's in the house. Much more to come on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Well, out there, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make...
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase across the fixed rate allowance.
Mayday! Mayday! Our buyer blew it. He ordered 38 cars instead of 8. And now we have got way too much inventory.
Hey, this is Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. I've got to sell these 30 cars extra fast. I'm going spastic, so I've got to do something drastic.
Qualified buyers with $5 down can drive a nicer, newer car today. Who knew $5 could get you a nicer, newer car?
Well, it can, because I'm in a jam.
Is bad credit causing you distress? My For the People credit approval process just may save the day. Get approved for a nicer, newer car you'll love. Mayday! Mayday! Get down to Prestige Auto Sales right away. The Mayday madness ends after we've cleared 37 cars.
My name is Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of Kinetic Motion Fitness here in Ocala, Florida. A lot of you have experienced our great classes in personal and small group training, but did you know we now offer dynamic workouts on DVD? These high-quality, locally produced, effective DVD workouts can go where you go. Going on vacation? No problem. We can go with you. Friends and relatives out of town who are jealous that you get to come to KMF? No problem. We ship anywhere in the United States for free. Our great lineup of 4 DVDs includes Kinetic Achieve, Kinetic Couples, Fitness, Kinetic Core, and Kinetic Campus. 4 great workouts for the entire family on DVD. Sound interesting? Check them out on our website at kmfocala.com. While you're there, check out our class schedule and come see us. We're only 5 minutes from downtown across from the Skylark Plaza. Visit kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. KMF will get you results at our studio or at home with one of our DVDs. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are. Visit kmfocala.com for more information.
If you need a sign or a banner for your yard or your business or your campaign, I'd recommend you go to Signs Unlimited at 318 South Magnolia in Ocala. Screen printing, embroidery, digital graphics. Do what I did when we needed signs for the Save the Marion Theater Group. Go see Vic Buttermore at Signs Unlimited if you want quality work with a fast turnaround from somebody who is deeply committed to his community and always ready to assist you. There's a reason Vic's slogan is, it's our business to make your business better. Sign up for Signs Unlimited. Call 732-7341 today.
Howdy, folks. RL here to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great new meal. Dairy Queen's now serving 3 different $5 meals. Hot dogs with chili, cheese, slaw, whatever. Quarter pound with cheese, loaded up any way you like it. Solid filet chicken tenders. And each meal comes with fries, a drink, and a sundae for only $5. You got that right. Nobody beats that deal. A great value and a great meal. So come on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's ocalaforsale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. Ocalaforsale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
This is Don with ABC Frederick's Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey, everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Frederick's Appliance does repairs, too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
That it spent about $50 million to hold at least 220 conferences for employees between 2010 and 2012. A dance video from one of those get-togethers has gone viral. Bradley Manning, the soldier on trial for giving tons of classified information to WikiLeaks, thought he could make the world a better place, says his attorney. Manning could face life in prison if convicted by a military court in Maryland. Another death blamed on last Friday's tornadoes and flooding in Oklahoma. The total now 14 in the Oklahoma City area, 9 adults and 5 kids. A federal judge has given a Catholic diocese in northern Indiana permission to keep some personnel records private during a lawsuit filed by a former employee who says she was fired because she had in vitro fertilization. Ford recalling 390,000 vehicles, including 2013 Explorers and Flexes, because of a fire risk. This is ABC News.
Jay Farner here with Quicken Loans. Here are 2 simple words that should make you reconsider waiting to buy a home. Buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,350. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.5%, APR 3.65%, that payment could support a $300,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6%, that same $1,350 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $225,000 mortgage. That's $75,000 worth of home that you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. And for 3 years in a row now, J.D. Power & Associates has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Give Quicken Loans a call today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com and maximize your buying power.
For J.D. Power & Associates award information, visit jdpower.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance calls. For cost information, equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry. We didn't leave you.
If he's gone, he's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma. Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah! You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
All right, welcome to hour 2 of the program. Buddy Martin, along with Tom, JJ, Sean. I can't imagine anybody hadn't heard of Dr. Buddy. A little surprised that the mayor didn't know about it.
I don't like that.
Yeah, well, he's smarter than that. I think he's busy.
Yeah.
I think he's busy on Mondays because I didn't get a chance to listen to the show. So
that's probably what it is.
No doubt about it. Because who hasn't heard of
it? I had someone email me from Atlanta the other day talking about Dr. Buddy.
Well,
and it was Chipper Jones, buddy.
Well,
Chipper Jones.
Is that Kevin Sheely walking right here in front of the window?
I don't know. You never
I
know.
think it is. I think
Could
there
be
is.
Chevy
I
Sheely.
think
I don't
he
know
is
why
right
he's here. Has he got the wrong day?
I don't know. He may
supposed
have.
Supposed to be on later in the program, later in the week.
Maybe he thinks he's supposed to be on today. I'm going to go outside and ask him.
Go ask him.
I am.
Well, if he is, we'll take him. We're good with that.
We'll definitely take him.
Maybe we got the schedule wrong. So maybe we got Kevin Sheely on today. I think we did, as a matter of fact. Looking at my notes, I believe we had him scheduled for today, which is good. He'll be coming on in just a few minutes. Which means we'll have to make a little change for Mr. Sater coming up. Yeah, so we're right. He was scheduled for today. We got that a little bit mixed up. So just a minute, we'll have Kevin Sheely, who's the head of the chamber and the PED and partnership. We'll catch up with him in just a minute. Coming up at a little later in the program, we've got John Sater, the expert on music, online music, saying that he thinks all music should be paid for. I don't know about that now. I like Pandora. I'm not really ready to go up and upgrade my Pandora account, but I get where he's coming from. He's an expert on music and online in the industry, and he's got a little rap he wants to do about music. Dr. Buddy today visits a couple of ideas. First of all, a third of all marriages these days start online, JJ. Did you know that?
I didn't think it was a third.
A third, according to this information I have in front of me. It's amazing. And then, when you get into a relationship, you start out, it's that first glow of love and all the things that go on, and you're happy and you tell all your friends about it. When your friends start giving you a warning, you better listen because there's some things you got to be careful about, according to our experts today. This came from Match.com. Yes, Dr. Buddy does have to have other experts once in a while. I can't think of everything on this show. And we'll give you some 5 warning signs for you if you're starting to date and you see these things. You might want to just stop and think about it before you go much further. So be sure and listen to that coming up in the program, too, as well. Sports today. JJ, a famous Buffalo Bill, has cancer.
And Miami Hurricane, buddy.
And a Miami Hurricane.
Jim Kelly.
That's a 2-bagger for you, man.
Yeah.
2 guys. And I won't tell you who it is, but you've probably heard one of the most unselfish basketball players, point guards, ever to play the game, retired today as well. And we'll talk about Game 7. JJ's got some interesting stats about Game 7s. I love all Game 7s. World Series. Certainly in basketball, the NBA championships is always great, Game 7. Hockey, Game 7s. They have a special thing about them. And sometimes they disappoint because they don't measure up because their expectations are so high.
I feel like most of the time they disappoint.
Yeah, and other times they turn out to be quite good. So I'm hoping tonight, JJ, we've got a special one. So here's what we're going to do. Because our guest is here a little bit early, we're going to take a break. Go ahead and get our friend Kevin Sheely on the show. and talking about what's going on in the city and the partnership, the chamber, power plant, all those things. Coming up next right here on the Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976.
My question is, how many motorcycle patrolmen are working right now between the police department and the county, and how many are there?
The police department has 6 traffic officers who ride motorcycles. It is a specialized assignment. It's always the same 6, and they're highly trained on how to handle that motorcycle and in traffic law investigation and enforcement. I'm not sure how many the sheriff has.
Yeah, we have around 4. It's the same here. I mean, they're specially trained. They're assigned to a traffic unit. I have a sergeant over top of that unit. I had a lieutenant, but when I took office, I went ahead and made a change and put that lieutenant in a district, and so now the sergeant heads that unit. And we have motorcycles. They could be in cars too, so it depends on them, depends on the weather conditions.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm had experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless the recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
The AP is reporting that 2 explosions at the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
There's 3 people confirmed dead at Boston Marathon.
Multiple people injured.
Explosion at the Boston Marathon.
Report of another possible device at the Mandarin.
Our 6 reported injured, no deaths. Workers felt the blast all the way over from Newburyport Street.
The Voice of Ocala, your eyes and ears when it really counts.
How good does it get? Golf has long been considered to be sport's most prestigious game, and WOCA has your connection to everything in the golf world. Every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m., tune in for Let's Talk Golf with your host, PGA professional and teacher to the stars, Jim Beckett, and operations manager for the Links of Spruce Creek South, Darren Irwin, right here on The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Don't ever miss a single edition of the Mike Huckabee Show. We're going to have a whole lot of fun talking the big issues of the day. We'll talk to the newsmakers and the issues that made them a newsmaker, as well as we'll bring you some entertainment, some fun. You never know what's going to happen on the Mike Huckabee Show. Don't miss it.
Join Mike Huckabee every weekday from noon to 3 exclusively on WOCA The Source.
Cookies, 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 cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
Welcome back to the program on a Monday. Glad to have the next fellow with us here. We've been trying to get him on. He's been busy lately, and he's had a lot of things going on in his life. Soon to be my neighbor, which is the biggest thing that's happened to me in a long time, and probably a big thing for him, too. Kevin Sheely, formerly of Henderson, Kentucky. He's the leader of our new Chamber Economic Development Partnership, and back with us for, I think, the third time, right?
At least.
You were here the first week, maybe before you were here. You like
early on,
a regular dude, like trying to think who's Jay Leno had on the most, or David Letterman. Anyway, good to have you.
Thank you. Always good to be here.
First of all, catch us up with any good economic news. We always like hearing that. Any business that you can talk about, at least in generalities, would be good.
Well, I think the thing that excites me the most is there's lots of good numbers out there. If you follow the unemployment rate for the 5th consecutive month, the Ocala Metro, which is Ocala, Marion County, led the state in a job growth ratio, which is fantastic. Our unemployment rate keeps going down, but also our number of employed people is going up. Those two things don't necessarily always happen together. Ours have. I thought exciting last month is we led the state of Florida in IT job growth. Over 7%.
Marion County? Over all the other counties?
Over all the other counties.
Now, is that percentage or per capita? Or
that percentage of IT job growth.
Okay.
Which was exciting because, those are the kind of jobs we want to grow, jobs that pay better. Then great article in yesterday's Star Banner talking about R&L carriers, which is probably a reason for a lot of those IT job growth, adding jobs very quickly. But, we can look. I was talking to an existing company today that we're assisting, looking at adding 150 jobs over the next 2 years. We're seeing lots of project activity. I think we'll probably have at least one project to announce this month, assuming everything wraps up, which it never does on time, but assuming it does. Some other good things in the pipeline. So, I think we're starting to see a lot of those good pieces come together.
Yeah, and now it seems like this economy is still sort of fickle. Because on the one hand, we have economy getting better, real estate market going up, and then we pick up the paper, we see school board lays off a bunch of all the first-year teachers. There's a lag in that. I mean, their taxes are based on revenues, and they're a year behind almost in their budgets and whatever. And you think, well, if things are going so good, how come all the teachers got laid off? And then you have other signs like the real estate market shows spurts of growth.
Right.
And yet people say, well, businesses not quite so good. I talked not right now. So it's sort of a dichotomy there in terms of what message do you carry forth first to the people of Marion County,
sure,
and secondly to the people who are looking at Marion County to do business.
And I think it's important because I think those messages are slightly different. Not that they don't go together, not that they don't complement one another, but they're different messages. A lot of our economy is based on consumers and what consumers think. It doesn't matter what the real numbers are, it's what consumers think. There are a lot of the real numbers in our economy are very good, but part of it is helping folks realize that. And so that's why it's very important to us that we continue to push out the really positive numbers, because for every positive number I throw out there, it only takes one negative number for people to forget all the positive. So we want to know, look, there are really good things going on, and we think that's going to continue. Not just to say that in the old cliche Chamber of Commerce speak, but we really think it's there, and really good things are happening. For companies looking at the area, it's really talking about the advantages. This still continues to be a very attractive cost-basis place to do business, especially in the state of Florida. Businesses are looking at this. We had some consultants in doing some training with our boards and elected officials last week and really talking about the businesses make decisions based on the bottom line. What's going to help them be most successful? And I think we have a really good story to tell here, both in available buildings and sites and labor force and cost of doing business. That's a good story for us to tell. I'll tell you this, we're very confident, very careful about what we talk about projects, keep it very confidential, but there's a major project out there that's looking all over the country, and we got an email from them today that basically started off with, if you're getting this email, you're not one of 31 states that were eliminated.
Okay.
So, hey, we're getting in the game on some big projects. Doesn't mean we're going to land them, but the first part is you got to get in the game, and I don't know that we've always been in the game.
We're 1 in 19 right now, at least. Here.
Or less, because I don't know that all 50 were absolutely in play. So, but hey, and we're the only site in Florida the only site in Florida that's in that mix.
Really? What, I mean, it would be silly to say this in a way, but what kinds of business are we particularly attracted to? Naturally, we're looking for, IT jobs,
Sure.
IT industries, light industry, what have you. But is there any specific kind of businesses that we're recruiting here?
Sure. We obviously will work with anyone. If someone has an interest here, we're going to work with them. We target our marketing to 5 sectors. One is, and 2 of those are manufacturing related. One is in the food industry, packaged food. It's great. It pays well. We're well suited for that. Logistically well suited, and it's anti-cyclical. So the economy can go down, but people still got to eat. They're still going to buy a product.
When you say that, do you mean locavores, which of course is growing local food? Or do you mean it's organics, which are being canned? Or I guess you can't can organics, but I mean, what kind of food processing are you talking about?
Anything that you would go into a grocery and buy.
Okay, fresh foods are big right now.
The fresh foods are big.
Anything 100 miles is safe for organic or locavores.
And there's some real opportunity to that. But any of that food, what you're really starting to see, because of the cost of fuel, companies are really starting to focus on, instead of having major distribution or huge, maybe 2 or 3 in the nation, they're now going to maybe 8. And so our ability to hit 40 million people from that Atlanta to Miami radius makes us very attractive for a lot of that food, whether it's organics, whether it is some more of the traditional packaged foods and the prepared foods. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there for us.
We had that in our history here.
Sure, absolutely.
Quite a bit. I mean, I think we had Libby's, which used to do concentrated orange juice. We've had, we've had several sausage companies that delivered statewide, if not national. There's been citrus, obviously. There's been meat packing plants here. We're going to have a so-called meat packing plant in Marion County with Frank Stronach. If that, I guess that's up and running. For at least the cattle are there. The actually slaughtering is not taking place yet, I don't think.
No, I don't think that's till this fall.
Yeah. So in other words, all the above you're looking for. And,
absolutely.
Tell us about the campaigns. What are you doing? What are you doing to get the word out? I know you told us last time about all the data you put out there and your websites and incredible information that's accessible to someone at a touch of a key.
You know, the number one thing is about going to tell the story. We want as much as possible to get in front of decision makers, whether that means people in companies who are making decisions or consultants who are helping those companies make that decision. And we want to tell our story. We think if we can get in front of them and tell our story, that'll generate activity, that people will be intrigued and want to see what's going on here. So, Brett Barnes is our Director of Business Attraction. 2 weeks a month, he's on the road, meeting with companies, meeting with consultants, participating in targeted trade shows to go tell our story. As we get into the fall, one of the things we'll start doing is some marketing that'll lead to direct appointments with CEOs, decision makers in targeted industries. That we want to go and tell our story, or in targeted areas where we think there's a good opportunity to get companies to relocate from those areas.
All right, explain to me, I know we've talked about this several times on the show, but for those just listening, you're obviously the president and CEO of the Marion County Chamber of Commerce Economic Partnership. What all falls underneath that? Obviously, it's recruitment of new businesses, it's chamber work, and now it's a power plant.
That's right.
Tell me what does that encompass?
Well, I think it's important for folks who don't know that the CEP is a result of the merger, the former Chamber of Commerce and the former Economic Development Council, and with the idea to have a one-stop shop for business. Whether you wanted to locate a business here, expand a business here, create a business here, you'd have one spot to go for that. You wouldn't have to worry, do I talk to this group or that group? Is it the city or the county? Who do I go to? We're that one stop. And so we have those 5 target areas: business attraction, which is what Brett does; business retention. That's something we're really going to start ramping up here in this summer. Is we've got to take care of our existing companies, and we're really going to be investing in that. Business creation, which is encouraging entrepreneurship. That's where the power plant falls in our scheme of things. Business advocacy. We have over 1,400 businesses who partner with us. We have that opportunity to represent their concerns, their needs, their desires to our local government and to our state government, as well as our federal government. So we're going to get more involved in that. And then business services. And that's a lot of the things that you might traditionally think of with the Chamber, the leadership programs, the networking events, the education programs, and making sure that we're coordinating all 5 of those areas.
Kevin Sheila's our guest today. Let's talk about the power plant situation. There's no secret about the fact there's been a change in management there. Obviously Kevin Reed's no longer with the power plant. What kind of light can you shed on us about that situation? And then after we talked about that, about what's next? Sure.
Well, I think the most important thing is when we in January our board met and put together a 5-year plan, and we set some goals and identified those 5 areas we were going to work. Identified some additional staffing structures and whatnot. We submitted that plan to the city and county, and then in front of about 600 community leaders late January, I presented that plan out at the Hilton. And that's really, I
was there for it.
Yeah. And one of the things that before I actually started, I met with the newspaper editorial board, and we talked about a plan. And they said, "Oh no, we adopt all these plans in this community, and they gather dust." And I said, "Look, I don't have any desire to have a plan that gathers dust. If we lay out a plan that we're going to do X, Y, Z, to our very best of our ability, we're going to go implement X, Y, Z. I hate to do plans just to have plans. I hate to do meetings just to have meetings. Let's be purposeful." So we're really working to implement that plan. Now we're not there. But, on the other hand, we're 5 months into the beginning of a new organization. But the power plant is a key portion of that.
How so? What does it do for you?
Well, if you look at one of my favorite businesses in there, DS Media, would DS Media be operating in this community without the power plant? Probably not. They're bringing some really fascinating, innovative, technology-driven jobs to our community and creating jobs. It really gives us an opportunity to bring in unique, innovative, talented people and give them a venue which to help nurture and grow that business and to allow them to network with one another. It's been doing that. We're going to keep doing that. That's not going to change. We're going to continue that focus. But we also want to do is to make sure that we're bringing in assistance so that if you have a business that you want to start or grow, your startup, that you don't have to be in the power plant, that we have services that we're able to provide that go beyond those 4 walls. And, one of the most exciting things I think we've got trying to get it all wrapped up now is bringing a new microloan program. We met with a business on Friday. Amazing, great business plan. They need some non-traditional money. That means they need money that you can't build. They're not interested in buying a building or that stuff. They need some working capital. And the microloan program is a great way to do that. I'm a big fan of microlending, have been for a number of years, and so we're getting ready to be able to bring that online. And the great thing about microlending is it allows us to help businesses. The banks love it because those are loans that they can't make, and they becomes a great partnership for us. So, that's a great tool we'll have coming online. And really, we're just going to continue to invest in what's going on there. I think we've got a good start. It's really just investing in that and allowing it to grow and to really create an entrepreneurial culture here.
Just to be real honest and straightforward about it, and talking to a number of people from different walks, the question they seem to have is, what happened to the innovative part of the power plant? And what I've read and heard so far and what they've heard and read, they're not seeing that as much. It's more seems to be about maintenance or discovery, but not innovation. And is it true that it's going more toward just jobs in the world of IT and not other innovative ideas? Because one of the attractions is to get people's ingenuity and discover new businesses and discover genius out there. Sure. So if you could edify us on that particular saying.
Well, I think innovation absolutely is the driver. It's our desire to encourage innovation, in particular at that facility. I think part of the question as we look at that is define innovation. There's 3 of us in this room. We'd probably come up with 3 different definitions of innovation. Part of that's making sure what are our funders' definitions of innovation, and how are we going to be judged, and how are we going to be measured for what we're doing. So
that'd be the county, and who else? County, city,
county, city, and then CEP helps fund that as well.
Okay.
So the partnership. So in addition to obviously the tenants that are in the facility, our residents, but I think it's about really stopping and looking, okay, what is innovation? What are the types of businesses that we need in this facility, we want in this facility? Innovation is more than just IT. We don't want a facility just of 12 to 14 IT companies.
That's one thing I'd heard. Now that you've answered that question.
Yeah, I there's a. I have to be careful. I don't know what I can share publicly. There's one of the neatest companies in there who's doing some really innovative things when it comes to aerospace and when it comes to some of the safety issues around that, and working with our first responders with that. Fascinating company, really novel concept. It's not really high tech, but it's certainly innovative. And I think those kind of things are really what we want to encourage. I want anyone who has a dream to own a business to be able to be successful here.
Okay, that's still on the playing field. That's
absolutely,
there's still an opportunity to go
absolutely.
there.
And I think it's about you don't just have to be a client, though, in the power plant to receive those those services. And how do we make sure that we're serving everyone who has a desire and make sure we can provide the tools to allow us to do that?
Okay. All right, Kevin Sheely is our guest. We've got a few more minutes with him before we take a break. Let's talk about the new position or person for the position. How will it be different than the one Kevin Reed had, or will it be different?
Sure. Well, and part of our plan from the beginning, the plan that we produced in January, talks about adding a couple of people. One is, with our lease with the city, we have the main facility, the power plant. We've also now extended, hopefully, the lease that will allow us to take on 3 more buildings to allow us to expand our services and what we're able to do. Along with that, there's a number of grants that are both in the works and existing and reporting. So we're going to have one person who's really just going to take care of the basic facilities management. And that means, obviously, doing the day-to-day activity with tenants regarding from a landlord standpoint. Last week I know I was running over at the building. We had a leak. We had the broadband went down. We had something went with the air conditioner. Going back and forth, just taking care of a lot of those.
So maintenance issues.
Sure, facilities management, but also the grant reporting. There's a tremendous amount of reporting that we have to do with our various grants and our partners. So taking care of that, and then
I know the signs there. A lot of them are, to the tenants. Be sure and do this. Clean the bathroom, do this, because there really is no crew coming in to clean up at nighttime. You have to do it yourself, right?
And we've upped that. We've got a cleaning crew that comes, but they don't come every day.
Okay, but in other words, what I'm trying to say is it's somewhat self-sustaining.
It is. Yeah. It is. But then the other thing, and so that's allowing us to take that administrative piece and push it on one person. The other thing, what I think is exciting, is we're now advertising and getting some incredible resumes in on folks to do the technical assistance. The reason businesses are there, it's not cheap rent. It's probably some of the most expensive rent in Marion County. It's because they want access to the other entrepreneurs and to services, people who can help them develop that business plan, people who can help them refine their business, people who can help them access capital, understand barriers that might exist and how to overcome those. And so bringing in someone who will handle that technical assistance, as the jargon is today in the industry, to be able to work with them through all these various scenarios and help them to network with other businesses. And I think that, to me, is really, really exciting. And they'll obviously be able to help all the tenants in the power plant, but also, again, anyone else who has a really exciting idea, and they're like, look, I really don't want to be housed here. I can work out of wherever, but I need some assistance. And so to be able to provide that and continue to bring on new tools and new opportunities.
All right, Kevin Sheely, final thought. Just to tell people what their tax dollars are going for and to tell them of our progress. Tell me your position on this now, where we are, where we're going, and why they should be excited about the future.
Absolutely. Well, I think the CEP at heart is a public-private partnership. The vast majority of our funds are private, though we do receive some public funding to fund some of our key marketing initiatives, as well as some of the operations at the power plant. But, I think we're moving in the right direction. It's about this one stop. It's about aggressively going out and telling our story, aggressively working to bring new businesses here. But also, I think the thing that excites me the most is what we're going to be rolling out here in the next 90 days about really focusing on existing companies. Unfortunately, they're the forgotten part of many economic development programs. And we're committed to not only putting them at the forefront, but our commitment is that when it's all said and done, we're going to have the best business retention program in the state of Florida. that businesses will say, look, I can be successful in Ocala and Marion County because the community through the CEP is going to come together and help me be successful. They're going to walk beside me. Not just, once a year we're going to throw a luncheon for them, but we're really going to actively engage and look at how do we remove barriers that exist to helping our businesses be successful? How do we get them to network together to really have an opportunity to create wealth and opportunity here?
Kevin Shealy, he's the head of the Chamber Economic Partnership. And by the way, soon to be my neighbor, I checked with the neighborhood. We have a maximum of one Louisville Cardinal flag in our neighborhood allowed. You're lucky. So far, it hasn't been used up, so you'll be allowed to fly yours out there.
That's good, because I have a really large one.
Remember, it's just 2 houses down from me.
I understand.
And I do have tomatoes, okay? Kevin, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Take a break. Coming back, Dr. Buddy on the other side right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Having the motivation and making the commitment to quit smoking is a great first step towards becoming smoke-free. However, anyone who's tried to quit smoking knows how challenging it can be. Having the determination to quit may not be enough. You may need some help. If you're ready to quit smoking and are between the ages of 18 and 75, currently smoke 10 or more cigarettes a day, and can commit to participating for 24 weeks, you may be interested in a research study which is being conducted to evaluate the use of investigational drugs to see if they can aid individuals in their quest to quit smoking. To help you quit, smoking cessation counseling and all study-related medical care will be provided at no extra cost. It may also be reimbursed for your travel time. To receive more information about this study, how you can participate, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala, 352-629-5800. Are you looking for a trustworthy auto care company that won't sell you something you don't need? Look no further than Affordable Auto Air and Care. Affordable Auto Air and Care has serviced Ocala for a decade and is family owned and operated. They offer quality parts at affordable prices, and they even include a 1-year or 12,000-mile warranty on their parts and labor. Their certified technicians work on any type of vehicle, even RVs. They specialize in auto AC, but they also offer oil changes, brake service, filters, tune-ups, shocks, axles, complete auto repair. Affordable Auto Air and Care is located at 1841 Northwest 4th Avenue on the corner of Old Jacksonville Road and 441. Call 352-401-0011 to book an appointment. That's 352-401-0011. Affordable Auto Air and Care. Complete auto repair. Take it from me, Tom Schmitz. I'm a customer.
Call me crazy. Some people say insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. I think insanity is 1,000 single-sided full-color business cards for $15 or packing service for 50% off. Call me crazy. Regency Printing on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street. 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Look for the yellow signs.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Times of clouds and sun today with a shower and thunderstorm in the area, high 84 to 88. Tonight it'll be mostly cloudy with a shower or two and even a thunderstorm, low 70 to 74. More clouds and sun tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 84 to 88. Wednesday mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and thunderstorms, high 82 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is Joe, and I'm your host for the new show, Damage Control, every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m., brought to you by Damage Control Services. We're going to be discussing floods, fires, storm and tree damage, sinkholes, mold, and many other disasters that you need to know about, how to prevent and prepare for them, as well as what to do when it happens and what to expect after it happens. This is Damage Control, Tuesdays at 10:30, right here on The Source.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. License and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
WOCA, Ocala.
What I feel is come and gone before. No need to talk it out. We know what it's all about.
Looking for my Marilyn Monroe tweet because today is Norma Jean Baker's birthday. Or this week it is anyway. And I had it all pulled out and ready to show you guys, and it was a good one, and some another I've just placed. One of those days when I'm sort of having problems keeping up with things, and like guests and things like that.
It's Monday, buddy.
I guess that's what it is. Just
Got a case of the Mondays.
JJ always plays that song on Monday. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. JJ, do Mondays get you down, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
I love that song.
Last Monday didn't especially. But
because?
We didn't have to come.
Oh, how soon we forget, huh? For sure. So,
but I'm glad we're here. We got a full week ahead of us.
We do.
Let's do this.
We got a Game 7 tonight, too.
Yes. Man. That's what I'm really pumped about.
Yeah,
man.
I am, too. I'm looking forward to I watched it Saturday night. I'm
a LeBron fan, but I was definitely cheering for a Game 7 to happen.
Were you?
Yeah. Because there hasn't really been that much excitement in this playoffs. It's kind of been a damper. I just think the Spurs haven't played in like 3 weeks. By the time Game 1's going to come around, they might, have already retired all those guys.
That worked out for the Heat, remember? And they laid off. Remember that?
And then they lost.
Didn't do too well, did they?
We'll see what happens.
All right, so we'll see what happens. All right, so we'll talk about that. Got a lot coming up in sports. Plenty of time to talk about that kind of stuff. And meanwhile, big boy, get in here because this one affects you.
I'm in here
today on Dr. Buddy. I'm still looking for my Marilyn Monroe tweet. I'll see if I can find it. It was a good one today too. I thought I'd marked it down. So, time now for Dr. Buddy. You offer advice to the lovelorn out there. For those of you who are not lovelorn, I'm give you a little hand here in your relationships. And we're not relationship experts, but we know people who are. And I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I guess that qualifies me. But one of the things that Tom brought to me today is I actually postponed something else I had scheduled. It comes from Match.com, and it has to do with those signals, those mistakes that you could make. Be aware of the 5 scenarios where ending your relationship might be a good idea. Lovers like, get out of Dodge, she ain't for you or he ain't for you. And those little signs, So I know we could probably make up our own list. But let's go ahead and use the one that these experts use, since they are the experts regarding relationship. And by the way, I did find my Norma Jean Baker tweet, Marilyn Monroe.
I knew you would come to.
Here it is. You were never a waste of time. You were just the harsh realization that I could do better.
Wow.
Pretty strong.
That may be one of the 5 reasons to say get out of a relationship right away.
And I've actually read up on her over the weekend. I've shared some long stuff. She was quite the poet and a very big reader, Tom. She read Ulysses from back to back. She read books all the time. She was cast as a dumb blonde.
She really was
not quite so dumb after all. All right, red flag number 1. You ready? Has this happened to either one of you guys? You and your partner have different views on family. There you go, JJ. Your family, you have very strong views on family. If you love having weekly Sunday dinners with your folks, while he or she'd rather spend time at home watching football, or you'd like to have 6 kids and you don't want but one, guess what? These issues probably aren't going to get resolved.
Not if you're going to have a serious relationship.
No. Once you're committed, once you're cohabitating, you better stop and ask yourself the question: are 6 kids too much? And can I watch my football on Sundays and Saturdays? Because it ain't going to get any better. And what do I always say? You say you can change him, but guess what? He's not going to change. Never works out. In fact, according to Patrick Schneid, that's his name, I didn't make it up, get off the Schneid, a dating relationship coach in Washington, D.C., he says, they're probably going to get more contentious. He says you and your partner must essentially be on the same page about the roles you'd like your respective families to play in your own lives, as well as the family you envision creating together as a couple. I always tell my kids, you married the other family. You married them.
Yes.
You're in it. So you better realize if it's important to your spouse, you better have the understanding. Correct, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I my first wife and I got divorced because I forgot that I'd married her family.
Yeah. Always remember that. Number 2, your partner has a history of being unfaithful. Not a good sign.
Or if you got with them when she was cheating on
There you go.
somebody.
Remember,
it's like, come on, man. What do you think's going to happen?
According to Dr. Terry Orbuck, trust is perhaps the most important and essential aspect of any successful long-term relationship. Quote, when you trust someone, it means that you believe that person tells you the truth, won't hurt or deceive you, and has your best interests at heart. So, check that out before you make any long-term commitments. Red flag number 3, your partner's been caught engaging in risky behavior. Okay?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Let's see. It should go without saying if your partner is routinely engaging in sketchy, scary, or harmful behavior, first of all, what are you doing with him or doing her? It's a good idea to reconsider being in a committed relationship.
Yes.
I think that speaks
That's
for
an
itself.
obvious one.
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
If you have to hear that
if you
on
need
our
that
show,
on Dr. Buddy, yeah, you need to move on. Let's go to red flag number 4. That could have been thrown out. Your partner is unable to handle conflict or stress in healthy ways. Now, this is an important one. How you handle stress, is going to determine your character and your relationship. Before you walk down the aisle together, according to this article, take a good look how the two of you manage stress and disagreements. There's fighting, there's fighting, and there's fighting. There's always going to be stress. There's always going to be disagreements. How do you get over them? How do you deal with them? How both of you behave when you have a disagreement now says a lot about how you will or won't resolve problems in the future, says Dr. Orbuck, because life constantly throws curveballs. I agree with that 1,000%. How do you handle stress? And however you handle it now is how he or she are going to handle it when you get in a relationship. And finally, anybody disagree with that?
No.
This is pretty easy, aren't they? All right. Red
They're
flag.
pretty easy, but a lot of people stay in relationships.
That's exactly right. So why do they, JJ?
There's a lot of reasons why, but
mostly because they think, I can go.
It's going to get better, or
well, here's why.
I can't find anybody better.
You know how it is? Yeah, that's it. Here's one thing you got to remember. Now, look, you're dating this girl, this guy, and you're on the rebound or whatever, and you're madly in love, and your friends keep saying, dude, back off. You lost. No, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm good. Okay? So
I got a lot of friends like this, buddy.
Okay. When even the most charming and genuine person can occasionally rub others the wrong way, if the majority of your family and friends think your partner isn't nearly as good as you, now for you, don't assume they're just trying to give you a hard time or simply aren't happy for you.
Right.
Okay?
I don't care enough to go out of my way to tell you that I don't like this girl just because I don't like her.
And a good friend is going to tell you.
Exactly.
Even at the risk of having a broken friendship.
I had one of my good friends, Jeff Guinera, was marrying a girl, and when he told
Don't
me
say
that,
his name on the air.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
First and last.
Get the guy up, I mean.
Jeff Guinera. He had a girl that all of us, all his boys, we were all high school buddies, college buddies, and we were like, dude, do not marry this girl. No, I was like, bro, your boys know, do not marry this girl. They stayed married 4.5 months.
There you go. Finally, it says the problem is because they're seeking love out of a sense of desperation, or like JJ said, they can't get anybody else, or loneliness. Here's that loneliness thing. They're able to convince themselves this person is the key to their future happiness, and therefore they overlook the person's deficiencies. It happens.
It's a bad
Don't
story.
do it. It's a bad sign. Look out for those warning signs. Remember, Dr. Buddy told you. Okay, coming back on the other side, we'll have tweets and quotes in the sports hour. Wait till you hear the amount of money that the SEC is dividing up for the 14 teams. It's all about the cash. Who was missing Saturday night in the big game 6? Who will be back tonight? Is he that good a basketball player that means they can win with him, but not without him. We'll talk about that guy next as well. And I'm going to tell you about something that really ticks me off about the president, okay?
What?
Coming up next, right here in the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM. Don't go anywhere, folks. You got to hear this. WOCA, the source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life, from everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and a coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444. Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of events, special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range. We usually hide somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hi, I'm Russ with Climate Control Mechanical Services, and I want to invite you to tune in every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. to listen for tips and answers to the many questions you may have about your air conditioning and heating for your home or business. The Climate Control Show, every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. right here on WOCA, 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM, The Source.
This is Don with ABC Fredericks Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey, everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Fredericks Appliance does repairs, too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
I didn't get a chance to get around to talking about the third of all marriages right now are happening online, and apparently that's the big thing. I'll talk about that next Monday on Dr. Buddy. We'll talk about that story. We won't have time to do it today. Right now I want to talk about a story that really ticks me off at the present, okay? There's a car salesman in California. He's forking out $32,000. Now that's a lot of money for him too. A lot of money for anybody. He makes $50,000 a year. taking money out of his.
And it's a whole lot of money.
It's $32,000 out of his 401k to allow him to make points about electric cars when he talks to the president. Contributing 25 contributors to the Democratic fundraiser in Santa Monica, California. He's one of them, and he's putting out $32,400. Now, first of all, I get what he's doing. I don't blame him. It's smart for him because he believes in the concept. But you can get the president for $32,000. You can be a guest for $10,000. For $16,200, you can be a VIP luncheon guest. For $32,000, the package includes an official photograph of the president, as well as a very special 1-hour roundtable discussion with the president. After the luncheon, President Obama will all take your questions in a private, off-the-record conversation where you can discuss with him what you like.
Is this true?
Yes.
Has this been a thing that you can
I don't
pay
know. It's
for?
first thing. You mean to tell me the president's selling his time?
I don't know, man.
What? It's not a radio.
This seems like an Onion story to me.
He's not a radio. No, it's not. It's not an Onion story.
Damn. That he has enough time in his schedule, somebody can just
Well,
put down
for
$32,000.
You know, for
I guess
times 25.
Help the debt crisis.
But I mean,
buddy.
here's the thing about it. That just says one thing to me: money gets you access. I thought it came in with more zeros on it than that, but apparently 32 will get you some time with the president.
An hour.
That really bothers me. It takes me off about the system, about the president, and the whole deal. Sorry.
Well,
I don't like
if it was a Republican president, it'd probably be 320,000.
There you go. All right, we had a death over the weekend. Somebody that was famous, not in this generation, but boy, back in the day.
Gene Stapleton.
Yeah, She was the wife of Archie Bunker, of course, and All in the Family, and that was a brilliant show. And you looked up some of the top shows of all time. You got about a minute, and that's mentioned as one of the top written shows of all time. Give us your top 10.
The Writers Guild of America put out their top 101 list of best written shows of all time. MASH, developed by television by Larry Gelbart, came in fifth. Gene Stapleton, we just talked about. All in the Family, fourth. Rod Serling's The Twilight Zone, number 2.
That was a good
number 3.
Show.
Number 3. Yeah. Number 2, created by Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld.
Can't argue with that. That's really well.
And the number 1 written show ever, I would think, was West Wing, wouldn't you?
I would think so.
Number 10 on the list. Number 1, according to the Writers Guild of America, created by David Chase, a mobster in therapy, The Sopranos.
Well, I mean, I can see why they liked it. I think, to me, it's more of a visual story. It's much a visual story as it was a verbal story. Therefore, if you say writing is developing characters, I get that. If you talk about just pure writing dialogue, which to me is one of the hardest things to do in fiction, I got to go with West Wing. Real quick, tweets and quotes, JS. Roll it out of here and end up the show with it before the music starts. Number 1, Albert Einstein said, "I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious." Number 2, a special kind of beauty exists which is born into language, of language, and for language. Gaston Bachelard. And finally, prayer. Not every question can be answered by Google. What a concept, huh?
Yeah.
Not every question can be answered by Google. All right, stay tuned. We got lots of sports news to talk about. We'll tell you our picks on Game 7 tonight. We'll talk about a great player who retired today, and lots more to come on the sports department right here on the Voice of Ocala on the Sports page next on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama who never was around, but she grew up tall and she grew up right with them Indiana boys on an Indiana night.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Hi, it's Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness. I'm looking forward to a fun, healthy summer, and I have a few ideas that might just help you and your friends stay in shape and have fun too. Along with awesome personal training and group classes at our warm and inviting fitness studio, we also offer fitness classes at your home or business. And if you're tired of the same old, boring cake and punch party, why not let us host a hot new health trend, a fitness party at your home or office? If you're having a hard time getting to the gym this summer, because of your crazy schedule, then work out with your friends or coworkers in a private group fitness class or host a fitness party at your home or office. We will bring you and your friends or coworkers one of our great workouts like Zumba, Pilates, Body Bar, Yoga, Tai Chi, Boot Camp, or Zumba Tomics for kids. We can even help you reach your long-term goals by meeting at your place weekly for an on-location workout. Check out our website at kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. Kinetic Motion Fitness is located just 5 minutes from downtown Ocala near the Skylark Plaza. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Willpower plummets the more tired we are. In fact, night owls do eat nearly 250 extra calories a day compared to people who go to bed early. Because the law doesn't recognize their relationship, unmarried couples many times don't have the same protections and advantages that married couples have. Facial expressions are linked to our emotions. They feed off of each other. Frowning increases stress hormones. Smiling reduces them, even if you're faking one.
Intelligence for your life. Don't miss this stuff.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
ABC News Now, I'm Joan Bennett. A Supreme Court ruling that allows police to routinely take DNA samples from people they arrest is under fire from the American Civil Liberties Union and from one conservative justice, Antonin Scalia, who warned that the DNA of any individual can now be entered into a national database if that person is ever arrested, rightly or wrongly. President Obama says every day 22 war vets die from suicide. He spoke at a White House conference on mental health issues today, saying the U.S. military will be increasing its outreach to vets to help them deal with post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. The IRS under fire for spending about $50 million to hold at least 200 conferences for employees over 3 years. The interim commissioner getting grilled by lawmakers today. Volunteers are stacking sandbags in Dutchtown, Missouri, as the Mississippi River threatens to send water into about a third of the homes there. This is ABC News.
We're mid-sized businesses, the engines of a smarter planet.
Our business depends on the movement of information.
Sure, we could use a free file transfer solution like FTP, but if our file transfers, payments, or orders are interrupted, then our business is interrupted.
Which makes that free solution quite costly.
Instead, we rely on Sterling Connect Direct from IBM.
24/7, unattended, uninterrupted, continuous data transfer.
Learn more at ibm.com/engines/connect.
Membership helps Strictly Bicycles keep business tuned.
Building a bike is like building a small business. With a bike, it's about weight, and a business, it's cutting costs.
The Plum Card from American Express Open offers an early pay discount or extra time to pay your bill with no interest.
It helps with my cash flow and lets me reinvest so I can put my money to work.
Find out more at open.com.
I'm Nelson Gutierrez, and I'm a member of making my money work as hard as I do.
This is what membership is. This is what membership does.
Terms and conditions apply.
How much time? 30 seconds. I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Okay. Enough kidding around.
Ho, 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 ho.
And now it's time for the Buddy Martin Sports Page.
He actually had me stay here last night in his gym.
It's like I don't fit in. It's like I don't belong here.
Let's go talk to a couple of guys that never gamble.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you on the poorhouse at the same time. He didn't think we could do it.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
And now, here's Buddy.
Hey, welcome to a Game 7 Monday edition of Buddy Sports Page. We always love to be on the air right before a Game 7. Hopefully it'll be better than Game 6, which was stinky. I don't know, like I said earlier, I think Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade forgot to get on the plane. They might as well have stayed home with the Birdman, who, by the way, is really had an incredible... Isn't he like 17 for 17 or something like that?
18 for 18, for 15 for 15 in this series.
You just don't realize maybe how valuable this guy is, apparently. So, I mean, when you got to count on Mike Miller to make your threes for you, nothing wrong with Mike Miller, but nobody else could make a bucket, you know?
He killed 2 right off rip, so you're thinking... All right, they're back in this. Thanks, Mike. And when they brought him in, was so funny. He instantly travels, like the first touch of the ball, and that's like the first time he's been on the court all series.
I don't know why, because he played a little bit during the year, you know. And
he played during the first couple of series too, but they're trying to get away from that. He can't guard anybody, neither can Battier. They're not big enough to guard people down low, so it's basically a matchup.
Neither can anybody else guard anybody, apparently. So
he can't score either. The Heat have just looked like the complete opposite team of they were in the regular season.
Yeah, well, anyway, so that's the deal, and it was a pretty sorry performance. I felt kind of sorry for LeBron. Yeah, he's looking like, help me, anybody, please. You know, I mean. And I'll tell you something else. I mean, look, why is he playing the point all the time?
Let Chalmers bring it up.
But yeah, or Cole, I don't care. But here's the deal: he's got enough on his shoulders, so you have to bring the ball up too. I mean, come on, he's tired.
I'm surprised he's not inbounds in the ball too. You know, everything.
I mean, he's got it. They got to do something different. I mean, what happened to the post up on Paul George? You know. Can't do that anymore.
Y'all make fun of me all the time for what I've been saying all year about how LeBron, I think, is going to go back to Cleveland. This last few games in the playoffs is showing you why I think that's going to happen. Yeah, because Wade his career might be done. He hasn't scored 20 points.
He's already done it the way he's playing right now.
12 games since he scored 20 points.
He looks. They got to get him off the court.
I don't know what he does.
Can't play.
First of all, he is such a hindrance on offense. He goes down. He doesn't pass the ball at all
Can't make
on
a
some
layup.
possessions and just jacks up a crappy shot, and he misses it. And then he he cannot score when he goes to the rim. That used to be what Dwayne Wade was. He would cut to the basket, and he could take it to the rim on anybody. Now he's missing layups, dunks, everything, and always is calling for a foul, complaining about a foul here, a foul there. LeBron can do that still because he's still good and scores. You can't do that anymore, Wade.
Yeah.
And Bosch can't rebound. They look lost out there, man. Without LeBron, they're nobody.
Yeah. All right, JJ, we got a lot of headlines, a lot of ball to talk about today, so I want you to give them to us, and I'm going to tell you about an incredible story I read over the weekend. It's about Vic Prenzi. Who is Vic Prenzi? Well, he used to play for the Florida State Seminoles back in the day with a guy named Reynolds, as in the movies, and a guy named Corso, as in Game Day. And he did something really remarkably noble a long time ago, which only came to light because of the Tampa Bay Times article about what he did at Florida School for Boys in Mariana, where there's been a lot of torture and death and what have you over the years. So I want to tell you about that story, but first, here's JJ with the headlines.
All right, like I said, the game is tonight, 8:30 TNT. Can't miss. Jason Kidd retiring after 19 seasons, buddy. A couple days after Grant Hill retired, which ironically they both
came in together.
Yeah, and they split the Rookie of the Year that year. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty interesting.
And by the way, one of the most unselfish ball players.
Yes.
I know you look at him now, you don't appreciate what he could do. I think he's second all time in assists.
Second and steals to John Stockton, who's not a bad guy to be behind.
Not chopped liver.
He's a 10-time All-Star. He played 19 seasons in the NBA. Easily a Hall of Famer. One of my favorite players growing up, Jason Kidd, retiring after 19 years. Chris Bosh today, we were talking about.
He retired because that might be a good thing.
He retired a week ago.
He apologized to the Heat, his own team, for his worst scoring stretch in almost a decade. Chris Bosh apologized to his teammates after Game 6. He says hopefully he'll be back tonight. We'll see what happens. And not so funny news, Jim Kelly, former Hurricane, former Buffalo Bill, Hall of Famer, says he's battling cancer of the jaw. He will undergo surgery on Friday.
I don't think that's as serious as people think. I think it's a squamish.
They said it's only in one part.
And I've actually had the squamish on my leg and had it removed, but of course it wasn't like in your jaw. But hopefully he should be
isolated in his.
He might be the all-time best Bill. I think he might be the number one of all time. I know if
him or OJ.
Well, but you can't because of OJ's unfortunate circumstance. You can't put him in that category now. A player, yes, but as a person, no. I think for that reason, I think your guy is Jim Kelly.
No way.
Okay, well, anyway.
Thurman Thomas.
No.
Without Thurman Thomas, there would have been no Jim Kelly.
Couldn't even find his helmet.
Thurman Thomas could run the football.
Yeah. No, he was not. Jim Kelly was an elite quarterback. Thurman Thomas was a great runner, but in my mind, Kelly is in a class by himself.
Bruce Smith wasn't bad.
Bruce Smith wasn't bad.
Saw him play his first game. Saw him play a lot when he first started playing for the Bills. Great player. Again, Jim Kelly, all-time best Bill.
JJ missed 2 headlines.
Let's go.
Grant Hill retired after 19 years.
He mentioned it.
I mean, no, but he said only Jason Kidd's a future Hall of Famer.
No, he
Grant
didn't.
Hill, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I don't know if Grant Hill's a future Hall of Famer.
Because the Basketball Hall of Fame is not pro Hall of Fame. The Basketball Hall of Fame encompasses college and pro.
Okay.
For what he did at Duke and winning the gold medal at the Olympics, Grant Hill will be in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
And the Christian Laettner play.
He will be in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
By the way, this is a guy who hates Duke saying this, by the way.
Yeah, Grant Hill will be in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Also one of the classiest kids and his family of all time.
Second story, terrible wreck Friday in Atlanta. Mookie Blaylock has now been charged with vehicular homicide for allegedly causing the wreck. He's been charged with improper lane change, also driving on the wrong side of the road, driving on a suspended license, and crossing into a median. All of the impending charges are misdemeanors, even the vehicular homicide.
Because he wasn't drinking.
The thing is, no alcohol. I'm not real sure that I would charge him now that they found out seizures were involved.
Interesting.
It's a medical thing.
They might charge him. He may be out
Could
be
get
able to.
dropped.
Yeah.
So, good job. Okay, let's take a break. Come back. I'm going to talk about this story about Vic Prinzi, former Florida State quarterback, played briefly for the Giants and Broncos. And it's a long, long story, I think worth talking about because it's something that's most unusual. It came to light only after his death and because there were some tapes that he made that his wife released to the Tampa Bay Times and about what he did at the school in Mariana School for Boys and what some of the horrible things that he saw firsthand that went on there, which we now know were reality. So we'll talk about that, plus more. JJ's got some game stats, 7 stats for us. We'll talk about that coming up next right here on Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin for Renstar Medical Research. Every day we hear another story about innovation or about the cutting edge of technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. But did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that will impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people are right now. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend an opportunity to you to be a part of these. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
Howdy, folks. RL here to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great new meal. Dairy Queen's now serving 3 different $5 meals. Hot dogs with chili, cheese, slaw, whatever. Quarter pound with cheese, loaded up any way you like it. Solid filet chicken tenders. And each meal comes with fries, a drink, and a sundae for only $5. You got that right. Nobody beats that deal. A great value and a great meal. So come on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's ocalaforsale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. Ocalaforsale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, less proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
This is Don with ABC Fredericks Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey, everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Fredericks Appliance does repairs, too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Searching for this truth here, which this reggae music.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala. A little gremlin action over there. The music got a little mixed up on us there, buddy. But you know what? Who didn't get mixed up this weekend?
I know who did get.
Mr. Steady on the PGA Tour.
Wasn't Tiger Woods, I can tell you that.
Matt Kuchar. Kuchar becomes the 4th-ranked player in the world. He wins the Memorial this weekend. And afterwards, he closes it out in correct fashion. He birdies 18. He goes over, he shakes Jack's hand, tells Jack what an honor it is to win this tournament and all. Then he turns around, his sons jump up in his arms. David Faraday comes over to talk to him and says, so what do you think? He said, well, it's a great honor to win this, and it's cool that Jack shakes my hand, but none of that's as cool as when I turn around and my 2 boys are here. And that to me is a class act. He gave the right respect to Jack and all, but he still brought it right back to where it needs to be. It's great that Jack shook my hand. It's great that I won the Memorial, but what really is great is my 2 boys love me, and they're right here for me.
That 1.16 mil ain't too bad either. Huge.
Matty Cooch is having a big year.
He moved up to number 4 in the world with his 2nd win of the year.
He's in the top 10 every week, it seems like.
Every
second
year.
in the money list. $4.3 million already.
I never thought he'd become that kind of player. I saw when he first plays an amateur at the Masters. I thought he's pretty. He disappeared for like 5 years.
I didn't realize till I saw him in person a couple weeks ago how tall and skinny that dude is.
I'm not sure. He's rocking that fuzz on his cheeks. I'm not sure how good a look that is.
4 under 68 when the game's on the line. Somebody yesterday said that his 4 under was better than anybody else's low round of the day because they had their low rounds because they had just let it all hang out. They're trying to catch him.
Right.
He shoots that kind of round with the lead. Missed 1 fairway out of 18.
Greens and fairways, straight as an arrow all day long. Incredible how and he hits a low ball.
Tiger Woods, 2 triple bogeys in the same tournament for the first time since 1997.
That won't happen again.
Wound up with the 2nd highest tournament score of his career, an 8 over.
Second time he shot 79, right, too.
Yeah. Wood says it happens to all of us. Just go home next week and practice. Get ready for the U.S. Open.
How's my bet looking with the Pingalower about him not winning 2 majors this year?
Yeah, I'm thinking you're pretty good.
Great.
There.
Okay.
But that is 2 weeks. St. Jude's Classics this week. Then from Marion Golf Club, Pennsylvania.
One of the first Opens I ever covered was at Marion. Didn't really appreciate what it was at that time.
M-E-R. I-O-N, by the way.
What's that?
M-E-R.
And think about Kyle Stanley, who finished 2nd yesterday to Matt Kuchar. He shoots the same 4 under 68, played his last 25 holes without a bogey and still loses.
That stinks.
JJ, what's unique about the flag sticks at Marion? They'll be different for the U.S. Open.
Are they?
No, they won't. They'll be the same for the U.S. Open.
They keep them?
Yep, they're going to keep them.
Are they
that was announced.
Red?
They are red.
I knew that.
But what about them is what about them makes them unusual?
Not really flags.
They're not flags. They're
wicker
baskets.
This goes back a long time.
They're red wicker baskets on top of the poles.
I got to look at this Google image.
And they've only had the flags. They've used them the last year. The U.S. Open in 67, I think, was the U.S. Open. They used the flags. I think that was the one.
I'm trying to think of the one I covered there in 80, I believe it was.
These look like tiki torches.
See, what was the year I covered that event there? It was 70.
Either the last U.S. Open or the U.S. Open before last it was played there. They didn't use the flags, but they've used them every other time.
Anyway, I can't remember the year.
Up until
it was run by
1980.
Graham. And so it must have been 1980.
1980, they used the flags.
Yeah. I was there in 80. They didn't use the baskets.
Not the wicker baskets.
Did not use the baskets there. So it's a. They had to lengthen it. It got out of the rotation because it became too short.
Right.
And they had to really lengthen it out before they come back to it. It's right there on the main line of Philadelphia. It's it's a classic U.S. Open course.
I had somebody this weekend. They made a very good point that they said it was Steve Albright actually. We were talking this Saturday. reigning Marion County Golfer of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the Masters and all, and how they lengthen the Masters and they lengthen all these courses. And sometimes you don't have to lengthen, especially the Masters. I don't think they, and Steve Albright agreed, they didn't have to necessarily lengthen the Masters. They could have done some things like put in a few more trees in places, could have grew the rough at the Masters.
Wouldn't have been the Masters then.
Well, I understand. They could have done things without without changing the golf course that would have made the Masters harder on people like Tiger Woods.
Yeah, but see, I don't know if I'd like that Augusta National like that.
I don't like that they lengthened it.
Why not? It's the same golf course except longer. I mean, how could you?
Then how could it be the same golf course? It's the same golf course if they don't change the.
I'll tell you why. Because they don't have the rough. The rough is not as penal there as other places. They have the big, wide fairways,
But they changed the design that Bobby Jones created.
Tom,
that to me is more important.
Let me give you a little anecdote. When I first started covering the Masters, before you were even a gleam in your father's eye, let me just tell you this.
I was born in '67.
Oh, that's when I covered the Masters. Okay,
I was born in '66. Excuse me. So okay. I may have been a gleam.
Yeah, that was about it. You were a gleam. The difference, the classic statement everybody said when you went around on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, who's going to win the Masters?
I know.
And the answer mostly was not who can putt, not who can chip, but who can reach the par fives in two. They couldn't reach the par fives, some of the players, because the equipment was so totally different. Now they hit short irons into them. Yeah. The game has changed. So the way Bobby Jones designed that golf course was really long. It was a long golf
relevant
course.
Then, but it's not relevant.
So now you had to lengthen the golf course or change the character of the golf course. I don't want to see smaller greens. I don't want to see more bunkers and more water. I don't want to see longer rough. I don't want to see more trees. I want to see Augusta National. So lengthen, to my opinion, was the best way to go.
Well, and to my opinion, they changed the design Bobby Jones did when they lengthened it. They changed the golf course. Mm-hmm. To grow the grass doesn't change the way the golf course plays, but doesn't change the design of the course.
Okay,
to lengthen the holes changes the design.
They should be able to drive the par fives. Then, well, you're talking.
I'm just saying,
they hit it one shot.
But that's a whole different conversation because there's a lot of ways.
It is the conversation.
There's a lot of ways they could right now change the game of golf without lengthening golf courses. You know as well as I do, they could go to a deader golf ball that couldn't be hit as far.
That's a totally different issue.
I know it is, but that's what I'm saying.
They're not going to do that.
People saying, "Oh, they lengthened the golf courses because of equipment." They could shorten the golf. They could make regular golf courses work because of equipment too.
I've heard that speech from Jack Nicklaus 1,000 times.
Well, I think if he told it to you, he's pretty smart.
Well,
Jack Nicklaus knows the game.
I'm not saying, but they aren't going to do it. It's not a brand new idea, Tom. It's been around for 25 years. So, I mean, it ain't going to happen. So, there you go. So, you got to do something about the golf courses.
So, mess up the design of historic golf courses.
Yeah, well, so what do you think they've done everywhere else?
I'm not happy with it everywhere else. I didn't say I was just upset with it at the Masters. I don't like that they messed with Donald Ross's designs that he built in the 1910s.
Pinehurst is different, okay, because of the equipment and the ball. It is a fact of life. Something had to give. So they didn't want to deaden the golf ball, and they're running out of real estate. So they had to do something. Well, if you change the Masters into a U.S. Open course, it's not the Masters.
Well, and I agree with you, but my point to this is, if they wanted to literally change the game, you either have to do one or the other. Like you said, buddy, change the equipment or change the courses. And I, being a history guy who likes tradition and courses, think they should have retroacted the equipment. There's ways to make golf balls deader, and that's just my opinion. I wouldn't mind, and we'll never do this, of course, because there's too much money. A persimmon golf club doesn't cost $600 like a driver does at one of the sporting goods stores. But it wouldn't bother me to see them have to go back to persimmon head clubs and go back to playing the golf courses the way the people who designed them with the grand old game in mind designed them to be played.
I got a better idea. I got a better idea. Instead of changing the golf course, let's just change the subject. How about that?
Well, by the way, 1981 major at Marion, U.S. Open. Graham. That you were at, David Graham.
Yeah, he shot
from Australia.
I followed him shot for shot, walk to walk, walked the entire walk with him, and watched him play a terrific round. that wasn't very good score-wise, but it was the perfect round, one of the greatest golf rounds. I think it might have been 100 par or something.
Where is it located? But is it near King of Prussia?
Philadelphia.
Is
It's right near
off the main line.
Philadelphia.
It's off the main line.
Hey, guess how much money he made for that?
He probably made 200,000.
No, he made. No, yeah, I was about to say. I was going to say 45, 50,000.
Let me say this. I told you this story once before. In 1970, let me get my years right here. I was living in 71, 72. Nicklaus won the first two majors, and he won the PGA that year because it was played second in Palm Beach.
Right.
And he was going. He won the Masters. Right. And he was going to the third leg, which of course was the British Open. I was writing a magazine article on Nicklaus. I talked to him on the phone. He was at $200,000 and was led the money list, and it was a lot of money. And he said to me on the phone, "Honest to goodness, you think people will think I'm greedy?"
Yeah. JJ, go
$200,000. He was the money leader. JJ, you think people think I'm getting greedy?
Look up the U.S. Open 1994.
Didn't impress you at all, did it, Tom?
Yeah, look up the U.S. Open 1994 and see what the winner won for the U.S. Open money-wise.
Yeah, but anyway.
And then look U.S. Open 2000,
all right, let's
6 years later,
let's
to see how much
shift
money
off
they
of
made.
golf for a second. Let's talk about Roy Hibbert for a second. All right, in Game 7.
Do we have to give him even some time?
Roy Hibbert's going to be a great player. He made a mistake.
He needs to keep his mouth shut.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's young. He made a stupid mistake. He said something. He paid for it. He used
paid a lot for it.
A gay slur, and he used the word, somebody saying no homo.
And then used MFer towards the media.
Yeah, well, I mean, who cares about the media? Yeah. Nobody cares about them. But you can't do something like that. Stupid. And then I guess he ripped on the media for not getting
it just might seem like a fine to some
defensive
people.
player of the year. So
yeah, but 75,000 is a lot to anybody.
It was a big fine. I think Tom said it was a big one. The
largest one in the NBA this year.
So anyway, the question becomes now. You guys were talking about it during the break. I know ESPN's talking about it, their commentators all day. How is this going to affect tonight's game and Roy Hibbert? We'll just make a guess. Tom, you think it's going to really hurt his game tonight?
I think that it'll with all the media coverage, because the media now, Roy Hibbert was not the center of attention. Now all of a sudden he's the center of attention of this entire series. He's going to have a media crush on him. The Miami media is going to be on him. The national media is going to be all over him before the game. It's going to take him out of the routine that he's used to from a game in, game out situation. A guy who's not used to that kind of media crush and not used to his routine being upset and everything. Plus, the Miami fans are going to be on him hard. Plus, if I'm one of the players, I'm out there reminding him of how dumb he is every time I go up and down the court. There's a lot more that's going to be thrown at him than just a basketball game, and I'm not sure that the young man's ready for that.
I'm going to say this right now. Let's be honest. If Jason Collins hadn't come out a couple of weeks ago,
that fine would
this have existed?
No.
Oh, it's still been a big deal.
Well, I mean, it might have been 5,000.
Yeah, not anywhere close. And now they have to report Jason Collins is reaching out to him on Twitter.
No, he
and all
reached out to
this.
Jason Collins.
Yes, he said.
Jason Collins asked if he would follow him so they could talk it out.
No, Hibbert actually said,
Hibbert did it first.
Can I get a follow? I'd like to discuss something with you. And then that's what he said. So
he had to apologize.
He apologized.
But why did Jason Collins? Why didn't he apologize to the entire homosexual community? Why do you have to just think
he's the one
Jason Collins is the only one?
Well, he is in the NBA.
He did.
He's not in the NBA.
He said, hang on.
What I mean.
Hang on, before we get off the side road here. He did apologize to everybody. He said, I apologize to those offended. He, however, tweeted to Jason Collins. So he did apologize. But anyway, he called his remarks insensitive, etc. The question now, though, and that's all over with, is how's that going to relate to tonight's game?
I think that
JJ has a different view, and so do I.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect him at all, especially when it gets down to it. Right when it starts, he may get some comments from fans or whoever. I don't think players are going to say anything about it because, honestly, I don't think the players care. And it's Game 7. Your mind's got to be on a whole other planet, especially when that ball tips off. He's got to be thinking one thing and one thing only: let's win. Let's go to the NBA Finals.
So I think my turn now. I think he'll play with great intensity. I think he's been a dominant force in this series. I think he's going to play harder than he's played before. I think you'll see some really great blocks.
Like
in
he's
this
got
game.
something to prove.
He's got something to prove. I think it will make him play harder because he was stupid when he did, and he realizes that now. So I predict he'll play hard. Whether it will achieve a win for the Pacers, I don't know.
And it's already been proven nobody's really stopping him.
You don't think that the intense media coverage and the messing of his routine will affect him at all?
No, not at this point.
Well, don't worry about it. I was the only one who played competitive sports.
Well,
so
then
that's
I guess.
okay.
Well, then why don't you?
Y'all go ahead with your opinions.
Because Tom had so much media.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I don't think. I guess my letter at Florida didn't count in baseball, huh? So I'm sorry. I didn't know it didn't count. So.
I know managers and all get letters. It's okay.
I'm sorry. I wasn't the manager, but that's
okay. I
okay.
sat the bench. You got my letter.
And by the way,
if Tom's theory is right, then no one can say anything about it.
It wasn't Division II school either, by the way, just so you know.
Mine wasn't a Division II school either.
All right. So
if
as long as
Tom's
you're bringing out
theory-
credentials here.
Mine wasn't a Division II
If Tom's
school
theory
either.
is true, then probably about 98% of sports pundits should just not talk about it.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about anything because we didn't play competitively.
Okay, first off, you're entirely correct. First off, if you didn't play the game, hadn't been in the locker room, just stop it. You don't know what you're talking about. That's pretty much it.
You've never been even anywhere close to an NBA.
If you've never held an office, don't criticize the president.
True
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Exactly.
Right?
I feel you on that, but
There you
that's
go.
why I don't say anything about
You can't
politics.
say anything about that. He's all. There you go. So there'll be no more comments about anything regarding sports from us.
Or anything, actually.
No, I guess I'll have to take out my Letterman's card and show Tom just to prove me. But anyway, let's take a break.
fact
JJ, you got some.
carry a Letterman's
You
card
got
with
some
you.
just for purposes like this, to show guys up like you. Let's take a break. You got some great stats on LeBron, by the way.
Yes. Well, one really great stat.
And I think this is the reason why
He's really pulling his Letterman's card out, by the way.
Because it's going to be LeBron's game tonight. I think it will be. If he can get any help, it will be amazing tonight if they lose this game. I cannot believe that they would actually lose Game 7. We'll
What
find
a
out.
disappointing season it would be.
It would be awful. All right, take a break. We'll return after this timeout on the Voice of Ocala, Buddy Sports page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444. Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
How good does it get?
Golf has long been considered to be sport's most prestigious game, and WOCA has your connection to everything in the golf world. Every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m., tune in for Let's Talk Golf with your host, PGA professional and teacher to the stars, Jim Beckett, and operations manager for the Links of Spruce Creek South, Darren Irwin, right here on The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new
Yep,
trunk.
we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Don't ever miss a single edition of the Mike Huckabee Show. We're going to have a whole lot of fun talking the big issues of the day. We'll talk to the newsmakers and the issues that made them a newsmaker, as well as we'll bring you some entertainment, some fun. You never know what's going to happen on the Mike Huckabee Show. Don't miss it.
Join Mike Huckabee every weekday from noon to 3 exclusively on WOCA The Source.
Cookies, 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 cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
Stolen from Africa, brought to America.
Ooh, it's Game 7 time. Get ready to get home, get your popcorn out, get your cold ones, get ready to go. Game 7 tips off 8:30 in Miami.
Get your Birdman jersey on.
Get your Birdman tattoos ready to go. Birdman, by the way, is 15 for 15 in the Eastern Conference Finals. 15 for 15.
15 for 18.
18 for 18.
Or 18 of
during this,
20-something.
But 15 for 15 in the finals, okay? Now, if Bosch and... What are Bosch? Figure out what are the stats on Bosch and
Dwayne Wade's 10 points a game. Bosch is
they're averaging.
Shooting
I'll figure that out in a second. But they're averaging combined 26 points a game.
26 points a game.
And overall, LeBron only has like 3 less rebounds than them together, and like more assists. It's just insane.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's doing far more than they're doing together.
Oh my God!
And I saw somebody today tweeted like 5, 4, 4, 5, 3, 5, whatever. They said Chris Bosh's rebound per game.
Yeah, always
amazing,
really small.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a great stat there you gave us a while ago
Yes.
on Game 7, and who, by the way, is the all-time scorer for Game 7, JJ? I just thought I might.
LeBron has
that.
only been in 3.
Yeah.
But for everyone in the history of basketball that's played in multiple Game 7s.
Wait, only been in 3? In 3 champions in the Eastern in a conference final?
No, 3 Game 7s in general.
Well, that's not shabby.
No.
Can I give you a great stat here?
Let him
Let
finish
me finish the stat. He doesn't listen to the show.
No, he doesn't.
All right.
He has his own show.
In Game 3, or in 3 Game 7s, LeBron has averaged 34.4 points per game, the highest scoring average for anyone who's played more than 1 Game 7, buddy.
Wow.
So that's a lot
Staggering.
of very elite
How many
players.
again? 34?
30, almost 35 points a game.
Wow.
And this is my favorite Game 7 stat. There's been 112 total.
All-time Game 7s in the playoffs.
Only 19 conference finals, but 112.
Okay.
How many do you think were run? I already told Buddy this. Tom, how many think were won by the road team out of 112?
Oh, it's pretty even in the NBA, isn't it?
What's the percentage?
Out of how many? 112. How many do you think
what's
the
the
home
percentage?
team
You said percentage.
No, I didn't.
You
No, just number.
I said how many games?
How many
No,
games?
but I thought you gave the percentage before that.
No, I didn't.
How many games? Probably 26.
23.
No.
So he heard me when I
He
said
did.
that to you.
Obviously, it's...
No, I didn't. I didn't even know
Yeah.
you'd ask that.
So I would have guessed it probably would be a third, maybe.
That's not even
I
a
know.
fourth.
But I was saying I would think.
That's right.
I'm being honest. I would have guessed it's what
about
it was.
23%, 22%.
So, yeah, that's
I'd
amazing.
say about 1 in 5.
All right, what's your stat, big boy?
The Heat 1-3 versus the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah.
When LeBron outscores Wade and Bosh combined.
That's every night.
They're 2-0 when Wade and Bosh outscore LeBron combined.
Here's a great stat.
So all they got to do.
That's sort of an obvious stat.
Let me give you an obvious stat, a great stat. Besides LeBron, who's going to be the player tonight that steps up for the Heat?
Udonis Haslem.
Mario Chalmers, because he's been the second best player every single game.
Udonis Haslem has.
Well, Udonis has been the second best every couple games, but I think that Chalmers has actually been more consistent than everybody else, which he sort of disappears, but he doesn't play bad defense. He can hit an open jumper more consistently than Wade can. He actually can go to the basket.
All right, so nobody said Bosh.
No.
And nobody said Wade.
No.
And nobody said
Birdman.
The Birdman. And what about the guy who is the all-time three-point shooter? We've forgotten about Ray Allen.
He disappeared too, right?
He's completely disappointed.
And from the free throw line.
What was that movie he made? He No Got Game.
Oh, my. The Denzel movie.
That is unbelievable.
He No Got Game.
The worst part about his game right now is you would think if his shot's not going down or he's not going to the bat, something, he's going to be able to draw fouls and hit his free throws. He's like the best free throw percentage-wise guy of all time.
And
he's 7 for his last 14 in the series.
Contributing nothing. He can't play defense worth a lick.
No.
You know, and it's not that he gets one rebound every 2 games. He can't defend or steal the basketball, and he can't shoot it.
No, when you're in there to do one thing and make threes and you're not doing it.
I'm telling you, if I were LeBron, I'd sue him for non-support.
And like you thought, he's coming to Miami to play with the big 3. You know, Bosh and Wade are always going to produce.
I could find some shots on that team, okay?
Dude.
With those guys on the floor, I could get off a couple of shots.
What a difference a year makes, you know?
Dwayne Wade, let's be honest.
Because in the finals last year, Dwayne Wade was awesome.
Dwayne Wade needs knee surgery.
And that might end his career.
He needs to retire.
He needs knee surgery.
He needs to talk to Jason Kidd today in Grand Hill.
Especially Grant Hill, who has injury problems.
Chris Bosh is being thoroughly controlled by Roy Hibbert and David West. He's just being abused.
Yeah. All right. I want to get to the story before we go to Franz Beard coming up next, and that is the story about Vic Prenzi. And I would recommend to you that it's really not a sports story. It's on Tampa Bay Times website over the weekend.
It's on TampaBay.com.
TampaBay.com, and JJ read part of it. Vic Prenzi was a quarterback at Florida State. That's not the important thing here. But Prenzi was only 25 years old when he investigated starting a team for the Florida School for Boys in Mariana, which is a bad place, as it turns out. Many bad stories. They're now finding bones of bodies and what have you there.
Hundreds of bodies.
It's a place of evil, obviously, is what it is. It's known for one of the largest homes for troubled kids. It had more than 800 boys between 7 and 18 back then. He went out and introduced himself to the superintendent out there, and he got a tour, and he suggested that he maybe got to start a football team. And the story goes on to talk about how they're having problems with runaways, and boys escape, and they went to swamps, and they went to woods, and they get the dogs after them, and they bring them back, and what they did to them is incomprehensible. Is they beat them and what have you, put them in terrible situations, strapped them down, put them in chains. And so Prenzi came there and spent 8 months and put together a football program, and he actually put this together on tapes and stuff, and he gave it to a couple of writers, and nothing ever happened to him. But the tapes were mailed to the Tampa Bay Times, and I hadn't got time to go into the story completely, but he talks about these kids and how he managed to get a couple of them to reluctantly start playing football, and it was a ragtag bunch. And he did get them together to play competitively in high school, and they won a couple of games and what have you. And there was a kid from Jacksonville who was 6 feet tall and 190 pounds. His name was Harley Woods, a guy that he befriended. And he finally won him over after a long stretch and got him out to play football. He's a pretty good athlete. And they developed a relationship, although it was kind of odd the way they talked to each other. He, of course, had street language. Anyway, so this guy Woods came aboard, and he helped Vic Prenzi build his program and what have you. And he went on and wound up making the most of a bad situation. But during that time, there were some things that happened while Prinzi was there, and I won't go into the whole thing here. But one of the things was he was concerned a couple of players didn't show up, and then one of these kids that didn't show up, he went looking for, and he found out. He went to this place called a White House on campus there. He opened the door, and much to his horror, he saw this kid strapped down, locked into a bed, and a guy beating him with a strap. And it says Prinzi flung the door open, was hit by a putrid smell like sweat and urine and rotting wood. He said he almost gagged. In the dark, he saw his quarterback sprawled and tied face down on a cot. Beside him was a thick leather strap. The superintendent, he was beating him and seemed to do it with great joy. And Prinzi grabbed the man and pressed the strap against his neck. And he says, so this is how you get your jollies. He said, if I ever hear of you touching any of these boys again, you better make sure you got a good lawyer, because I'll make sure it's my life's mission to make sure you lose everything. Threw the guy on the floor, and he said, you never have heard the end of this. Anyway, he fought it in his own way, managed to get a few kids, get their lives directed and get them out of, get them on the right path. But the story goes on. Sadly, it didn't change a whole lot of things about Mariana. They did win a few football games. They beat Chattahoochee, which was a big, strong team, 20-0. They played against Sop Choppy and et cetera, et cetera. But the bottom line was Vic Prinzi did all this, and he exposed the horrors of this school a long time before we found out about it. Nobody just knew about it. And now we do, sadly. So it's a terrific read. It's a good story. I just can't say enough good about Vic Prinzi for taking this program on, for doing something like this. And it's a sad story, but it's a good one. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and we will talk to Franz Beard next right here on the Voice of Ocala Blaze Sports page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, it's Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness. I'm looking forward to a fun, healthy summer, and I have a few ideas that might just help you and your friends stay in shape and have fun too. Along with awesome personal training and group classes at our warm and inviting fitness studio, we also offer fitness classes at your home or business. And if you're tired of the same old, boring cake and punch party, why not let us host a hot new health trend, a fitness party at your home or office? If you're having a hard time getting to the gym this summer, because of your crazy schedule, then work out with your friends or coworkers in a private group fitness class, or host a fitness party at your home or office. We will bring you and your friends or coworkers one of our great workouts like Zumba, Pilates, Body Bar, Yoga, Tai Chi, Boot Camp, or Zumba Tonics for kids. We can even help you reach your long-term goals by meeting at your place weekly for an on-location workout. Check out our website at kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. Kinetic Motion Fitness is located just 5 minutes from downtown Ocala near the Skylark Plaza. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business, because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. License and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hi, I'm Russ with Climate Control Mechanical Services, and I want to invite you to tune in every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. to listen for tips and answers to the many questions you may have about your air conditioning and heating for your home or business. The Climate Control Show, every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. right here on WOCA, 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM, The Source.
This is Don with ABC Frederick's Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Frederick's Appliance does repairs too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
Believe one love, one heart, let's get together and be.
All right, welcome back to the program. France Beard joins us now. She does every Monday. And, France, I'm looking at these figures here. SEC just got a whole bunch of money, $289.4 million to divide up the 14 league teams. Your thoughts about this? I mean, after all, that's not all of it. This money thing has gotten huge.
Well, the money thing has gotten huge. You know, with the University of Florida, for example, you got to add in another $10 million that they get from Fox Sports for their contract. For example, that goes through Fox Sports Florida and Sun Sports. It's an staggering amount of money. And here's the thing to consider, buddy. When the SEC network goes in, the lowest estimates I've seen are another $10 million into the pot. But conservative estimates are saying 15 to 20 million, and could be more than that.
It just, among other things, we don't even have time to delve into it the final 2 minutes, but it just goes back to what Spurrier has been saying for a long time. All this money, the kids get none of it. Should they be paid a stipend?
Well, they should at least get the cost of going to school, and I agree with that, and that includes every athlete out there, because let's face it, baseball players. I mean, my gosh, there's rarely a baseball player that gets a full ride, and these people have to pay a lot of money out of their own pockets. I mean, at least give them the cost of going to school.
The point is they go on the road to play a game to get meal money and all that sort of stuff. But, I mean, shouldn't it be fair that every player should have a little, enough money to get his cleaning out or his, or to take his, to go to a movie on weekends? I mean, look, what are we talking about here? I'm not talking about paying each player $25,000 a year. All that money, shouldn't it be entitled to, I don't know, $10,000, $1,000 a month or something?
This is what this cost of going to school thing is, and Mike Sly of the Sports Spurrier has been very, very proactive for this. It means that there is spending money in addition to the actual cost.
I didn't know what you meant by going to school money. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Speaking of softball and baseball, Gators are out of it. I watched the long marathon game Saturday night. They pulled that one out 9-7, then they only to lose to Texas. They up against a buzzsaw of a pitcher on Sunday.
Well, Florida picked a bad time to go into a slump in softball. From the time that they played their last game in the Gainesville Regional onward, they just weren't hitting the ball the same way. But this is a young team, and next year they're bringing in the top recruiting class in the country.